In a bustling tavern, the legendary hero's party assembles. Arya Rizes, a level 20 sword master, Ramiz Alfredia, a level 10 mage, and Taodu Naotsugu, the level 15 hero himself. But observing them all is the fourth member, a white-haired priest named Ares Crown, his expression utterly unimpressed. But for Ares, this honor was a curse handed down 1 month ago within the hallowed halls of the Asgreed Holy Cathedral. There, he was summoned by the imposing Cardinal Cleo. Ares was curt, attempting to evade whatever was coming. I have other business to attend right now. Cleo's words cut through his excuses. Leave that business to someone else. There is a new mission for you, Crusape First Seat. Ares' eyes narrowed. A new mission. A sly smile crept across the Cardinal's face. Are you aware of the hero's summoning? Ares nodded stiffly. I've heard. Good, Cleo replied, his smile widening. That makes things easier. Suddenly, the Cardinal's voice boomed with divine authority, pointing directly at Ares. Ares Crown, you are to support the hero Taodu Naotsugu to defeat the Demon Lord. The order hit Ares like a physical blow. A bead of sweat traced a path down his temple as he stared back in utter disbelief. Huh. And now, back in the present, Ares' internal monologue is laced with bitterness. I came here following orders. To see a party with an average level of 15, he internally scoffs, picturing them being wiped out by the weakest of monsters. They might get annihilated by a pack of orcs. As the party looks at him expectantly, Ares thinks to himself, it might be a bad idea to reveal my real level. He steps forward, his face a mask of piety. I'm a priest dispatched from the Asgreed Church. I have been ordered to accompany you. My name is Ares Crown. With a deadpan expression, he delivers the lie that will define this mission. My level is 3. The reaction is instantaneous. The hero Taodu and the mage Ramiz stare at him, their jaws agape. Level 3. Ares maintains his calm facade, preempting their next question. Yes, and I'm able to perform my duty as a healer, including abnormal status cures and level appraisal, so rest at ease. Ramiz is still panicked. Wait, are you even capable of using healing magic? Slightly reassured but still nervous, Ramiz forces a smile. Okay, well, it won't matter if we just stay out of harm's way. But the hero Taodu is unfazed, his spirit burning bright. He pumps a fist in the air. Either way, we're going to defeat the Demon Lord. I'll be counting on you all. Ramiz, inspired by his energy, beams. I'll show you the magic of Freedia, hero. Arya nods with grim determination. Immature as I may be, I shall wield my sword for you, hero. All eyes turn to Ares, the supposed weakest link awaiting his pledge. He places a hand over his heart in a gesture of faith, his voice devoid of any real emotion. As God wishes. In the next moment, Ares accidentally trips a passing waitress with his staff, sending drinks crashing to the floor. Please excuse me for a bit, he says smoothly amidst the chaos. As he stands to leave, Taodu asks, where are you going? Ares offers a thin, polite smile. To make a regular report to the church. His parting words are dripping with sarcasm only he can detect. Please go ahead and deepen your friendship while I'm gone. The instant he's out of their sight, the pious mask drops, replaced by a grimace of pure frustration. Ares descends into the city's back alleys, the cheerful noise of the tavern fading behind him. He finds a secluded spot, hidden from any prying eyes. He retrieves a small communication device from his robes. Pressing it to his ear, his voice is cold and urgent. Requesting connection to Central. Operator, do you copy? An operator's voice responds immediately. Understood, please wait. Ares clarifies, connect me to Cardinal Cleo. A moment later, the Cardinal's smug, familiar voice crackles through. Did something happen, Ares? Ares explodes, his voice a furious whisper. Something? Yeah, a lot of things. What is this party setup? Leaving the hero aside, their level is far too low. Their respectable bloodline isn't worth a damn against the Demon Lord. Cleo sounds unconcerned. I heard they dispatched their best personnel. Let's start with the mage, the Freedia girl from a distinguished family of mages. The Cardinal muses aloud, Ramiz Freedia, the Duke sure went all out. Ares cuts him off, his voice dripping with contempt, though she's only level 10. Cleo dismisses it with a wave of his hand. She's the sole daughter of Birdcage Princess. It makes all the sense that her level is low. Ares can't believe what he's hearing. Who cares? If she's a princess living in a birdcage, then keep her locked in her cage. He sighs, trying to find any positive. Fine, what about the Sword Master, Arya? At least she's level 20. Cleo continues, ah yes, the Sword Master. The Sword King assured me he sent a first-rate fighter. She's the daughter of Sword King Norton, Cleo explains, a practitioner of the legendary Flamia swordplay. Ares presses for more information, sensing there's a catch. Are you acquainted with them? If so, I need more details. A weary sigh comes from the Cardinal. I see, so Norton sent her. To sum up Arya Rizes in one word, Cleo says dramatically, she is the girl who turned. Ares is lost. Huh. The Cardinal drops the bombshell with a sickeningly cheerful tone. She refused to inherit the family's Flamia swordplay, and as of recent, she's just a student under the Maxillian school. Ares' blood runs cold. Huh, she changed swordplay, and just recently, why in God's name would they send her to the hero party then? He lets out a long, defeated sigh, the full weight of his hopeless situation crashing down on him. Cleo's voice turns deadly serious. Well, Ramiz, Arya, and you as well, Ares, we can replace you as much as we want, but there is no replacement for the hero. The Cardinal pauses, as if Ares' frantic protests are nothing but static on the line. Hero summoning is a technique that bends the natural law of this world, he lectures. A massive amount of magic was consumed to summon Taudu. Ares is practically screaming now, and surrounding him with weaklings like them puts him in mortal danger. Cleo's tone is dismissive. Sadly, we don't have the authority to choose his party members. If they're a burden, then you should follow them up. Ares' teeth grind together, and that's where you're wrong. It's not if they're a burden, there's none but dead weight here. Their average level is 15, he roars 15. Proceeding to defeat the Demon Lord with this kind of level is suicide. Do they even want to defeat the Demon Lord? Ares reminds him of the lie he was forced to tell. My level, I told them I'm level 3 though. You should be able to handle it with your level, Cleo retorts coolly. The Cardinal actually chuckles. The last digit, Ares seethes, it ain't time for laughs. Ares tries one last time to appeal to reason. Let's be honest here, our situation is dire. But Cleo has an answer for everything. The gap is far too wide. If they knew your true strength, their confidence might plummet to 0. That would give birth to a weakness in their mind. It must be avoided at all cost. That is why you are indispensable, Ares, Cleo explains. Our only saving grace is that only those affiliated with God may use level appraisal. You can lie your way as many times as you want. No one would doubt a priest. Ares feels the trap closing around him. What should I do? Cleo's voice is laced with ice. Well, having 2 burdens instead of 1 doesn't change much, right? The line clicks dead. Ares stares at his communicator in disbelief. Are you for real? I'm to continue like this? Hey, hello, oi. Cleo's final, dismissive words echo in his memory. I can try to apply some pressure, but don't expect much. With a roar of pure rage, Ares rips the device from his ear. Damn it, that bastard, Cleo cut off. He stands in the alley, shaking with a fury he can't unleash. He clenches and unclenches his fist, forcing his breathing to slow, wrestling his anger back into its cage. The rage recedes, replaced by a cold, hard focus. His expression settles into one of grim determination. He thinks to himself, his cynicism a shield. I'm not a good person who cares about world peace or whatsoever. But if the hero dies, the blame would be put on the healer. His eyes narrow into slits. Which is me? With his path decided, he turns and walks back into the light of the city. Either way, the church has issued the order. All I can do now is my best to fulfill it. Ares returns to the tavern table, the clinking of his armor barely audible over the din. Sorry for the wait, he says, his expression unreadable as he rejoins Taudu, Arya, and Ramiz. The group looks up at him, their discussion paused. The air is thick with unspoken questions, and Ares, the priest, seems to be the one with all the answers. Taudu, the summoned hero, breaks the silence. I was just thinking, a standard party has 6 members, shouldn't we find 2 more people before we head out? Ares' gaze is firm. Number for the time being, recruiting more members will have to wait, we'll proceed as a party of 4. A sly grin plays on Taudu's lips. And why is that? You worried about another guy joining the party, or am I wrong? Ares sighs, clearly unamused by the joke. What is this guy saying? If anything, I'd want another swordmaster to support Arya on the front lines. He looks Taudu dead in the eye. You're mistaken. Taudu's playful demeanor vanishes, replaced by genuine curiosity. Then why? Ares seems almost surprised by the question. That kind of thing, You don't need me to explain how that works, do you? Taudu, thinking he's figured it out, explains, since experience points are divided by the number of people in a party, it's better to have less people, right? But his logic is met with blank stares from Ramiz and Arya. Experience points, what's that? Taudu looks at them, baffled. Don't you level up after gaining enough experience points? That's how it normally works in games. The word game makes Ares' expression harden. No, there's nothing like experience points here. We level up by absorbing the souls released by monsters we defeat. We call it existence power. Ramiz chimes in, clarifying for Taudu. When you kill a monster, a part of its power is absorbed by the one who kills it. We just shorten existence power to exp. Ares paints a vivid picture of what leveling up truly means in this world. It's not just a number. It strengthens your physical capabilities and literally improves your existence to a whole other level, far beyond what simple training can achieve. That's why, he concludes, his gaze intense, it is called existence power. Taudu is still trying to wrap his head around it. I mean, I'm level 15, so I've leveled up before. It just makes my body feel lighter. From your explanation, I still don't see the difference from experience points. Ares takes a slow sip from his mug, his eyes sharp. I'm not surprised this is your first time hearing it, but there is one big difference. The basic principle is completely different. Taudu leans in, his confusion evident. which means Ares delivers the crucial piece of information, the one that changes everything. Exp can't be divided, only the one who lands the killing blow will receive it. The words hang in the air, Taudu's eyes widen slightly as the implication finally hits him. I see. Arya connects the dots. That means with more members it would be harder to make sure the right person gets the exp. Ares nods, setting his mug down with a soft thud. Exactly, which is why our current priority is to rapidly increase Taudu's level, and luckily there's a perfect place for that. The group looks up intrigued. The Great Forest of Viro. Yes, Ares confirms, his mind already on the mission. A massive forest spanning several kilometers. The monsters there are mostly simple plant and beast types, he explains. They rely on physical attacks, making them easy targets for a beginner party. Plus, he adds, it's a good place for us to learn the basics of survival. Arya, ever the cautious one, voices her concern. True, it's a well-known leveling spot, but Taudu is still at level 15, won't it be too dangerous for him? Ares dismisses her worry with a wave of his hand. You're only level 20 yourself, what's the big difference? Besides, we don't have the luxury to level up slowly. His tone turns grim, the mood at the table shifting instantly. This isn't the first time we've summoned a hero from another world. According to the church's records, the demon lord becomes aware of a hero's summoning after about a month. That's our time limit before he makes a move. Taudu's expression sobers. Are the demons that strong? Ares gives a casual, almost mocking wave. From the perspective of a high-ranked demon, I'd say we're no different than 5 meatballs, and that's me being generous. The hero's pride is stung. 5 Wa, I've already received some training from the knight's captain, but Ares cuts him off. Demon strength is 10 to 1,000 times greater than a human's. A few sword techniques won't close that gap. The harsh reality sinks in for Taudu. I see, then we have to take the risk to improve our level faster. Ares lays out the grim short-term goal. We need to reach level 30 as fast as possible. At that point, if we encounter a demon, we should at least be able to run away. He continues the lecture. We also need to raise Arya's and Remiz's levels, which will require a considerable amount of exp. But there's a limit to how much exp you can gain at one time, he explains. There's no easy way to power level. Ares' gaze drifts away, his voice turning cold and pragmatic. Our top priority is raising Taudu's level to 30, and should the worst case occur, Arya and Remiz can be replaced. The words hit Taudu like a physical blow, his eyes widen in disbelief. What replacement? Ares doesn't flinch. It's not because I have something against them, it's purely a matter of priority. As a priest, my top priority is to ensure the safety of the hero. Suddenly Ares feels it, a shift in the air, a pressure building. He looks up from his drink, his eyes drawn to the source of the sudden, suffocating aura. It's Taudu, but the easygoing hero is gone. In his place is a figure of pure, unadulterated rage, his eyes glowing with a terrifying white light. An immense, oppressive force slams down on the table. The very air grows heavy, charged with killing intent. Remiz gasps, sweat beading on her forehead, as she physically recoils from the sheer force of Taudu's will. Ares watches, a flicker of surprise in his eyes. Well. He analyzes the phenomenon with cold detachment. A technique where you materialize your will. Every high-leveled mercenary can do this, but it's not something you can use at level 15. Arya and Remiz are frozen, caught in the grip of an aura far beyond their comprehension. Ares' mind races. What a fearsome talent. No, this is more than talent, this is the power of one who's blessed by God's holy brave. With a guttural snarl, Taudu lunges across the table, his movements sharp and filled with menace. His hand shoots out, aimed directly at the priest who dared to call his comrades disposable. Taudu's hand clamps down on Ares's with crushing force. Seeing the fury in the hero's eyes, Ares immediately backtracks. I apologize, I made it sound like I want Arya and Remiz removed. But Taudu's voice is ice. You're apologizing to the wrong person. Taking the hint, Ares turns his head slightly, his expression sincere. Arya, Remiz, I apologize for my remarks. The girls can only stare, still shaken by the sudden explosion of killing intent. The oppressive aura recedes, but the tension between Taudu and Ares remains, a silent battle of wills across the table. Ares reflects on the sudden change, his reflection captured in his mug. Still, that change is far too sudden. Is this his talent, or is he just unstable? He watches Taudu, trying to understand the boy's psyche. Is he righteous, or is this from some past trauma? Either way, I should refrain from pushing his buttons any further. The silence is broken by Taudu's voice, now calm but strained. Sorry about that. No, I'm at fault as well, Ares concedes. But Taudu isn't finished. He looks down, his voice filled with disgust. But your words, it's unpleasant, it makes me sick. He looks up, his eyes burning with conviction. Never speak like Arya and Remiz are disposable again. Ares meets his gaze without flinching. Sorry for making you feel that way. I also apologize for my choice of words, he says, his tone even, but I'm afraid I had to. Taudu's anger flares again. Why? Ares lays down the brutal truth. Because the opponent we must defeat is the Demon Lord. Once, a party of elite mercenaries with an average level over 80 challenged him, just to turn tail and run. I have to say this, Ares continues, his expression grim, even if I'll get hated for it. I'm not here because I wanted to be, I'm here under the Cardinal's order. Meanwhile, our party has an average level of 15, crazy huh? His gaze hardens with resolve, but I always finish my job, and right now this is my job. He gestures to the entire tavern, to their small group. Our first and foremost mission is to defeat the Demon Lord. He locks eyes with Taudu, and for that end, Taudu Neitsugu, you were summoned here. Me, Arya, and Ramiz, our role is to support you, do you get it? Ares takes a sip, letting the weight of his next words sink in. You're the only one who could defeat the Demon Lord, or has the king not told you that? Taudu stammers, the full weight of his responsibility beginning to dawn on him. That's. Ares presses on, his voice sharp and clear. Hero summoning is not a ritual that can be used nonchalantly. Taudu, your death will be the end of this world, are we clear? He delivers the final, brutal blow to Taudu's idealism. And should the worst happen, Arya and Ramiz will sacrifice themselves to protect you. It's their duty. They were told as much before joining this party. Ares adds almost as an afterthought, not that I've heard though, I have no intention to die. Taudu's head whips towards the girls, his face pale with horror. Arya, Ramiz, is that true? Ramiz looks down, her voice small but firm. Why yes, my father told me to protect you even if I had to exchange my life for it. Arya silently confirms it's the same for her. The world seems to crumble around Taudu. The weight of their lives, the fate of the world, it's all on his shoulders. It's too much, the pressure breaks him and he clutches his head, a raw, agonized scream tearing from his throat. As Taudu collapses onto the table in mental anguish, Arya rushes to comfort him. Ares simply watches, sipping his drink, completely unfazed. You can get angry and scream all you want, he says coolly. The trials that await you aren't as kind as this. He leans forward, his voice dropping to a low, intense whisper. That said, you just have to become stronger yourself, Taudu. As someone blessed by 8 spirits and 3 gods, it's a possible feat for you. If you don't want your allies to die, then do everything in your power to protect them. Become stronger than anyone else and defeat the Demon Lord. Taudu's screams die in his throat, the words cut through his despair. He slowly lifts his head, the anguish in his eyes being replaced by something else, something wild and new. Ares watches the transformation, a slight knowing smirk on his face. Ramiz looks on, her expression a mixture of worry and confusion. Arya, too, is taken aback by the sudden shift in the hero's demeanor. Taudu looks up, a strange, almost manic smile spreading across his face. I see, that's one way to do it. His voice is low, filled with a newfound, terrifying conviction. I just have to win. Ares feels a sudden chill, a faint unease he's felt from Taudu before, now amplified. As Taudu starts to chuckle to himself, a dark, unsettling laugh, Ares thinks, this guy might be dangerous, you. Suddenly, Taudu slams his hands on the table, his eyes blazing with a feverish light. That's right, I just have to win, that's all there is to it. Isn't that right, Ramiz, Arya? Swept up in his sudden, overwhelming charisma, Arya and Ramiz cheer in agreement. Why yes, absolutely, but of course. The party is now a whirlwind of hype and motivation, but Ares watches them from the side, a skeptical look on his face. He takes another sip from his mug, a single thought running through his mind. This hero might have got a few loose screws. Sunlight cuts through the window as Ares' eyes snap open. He sits up, the weight of the previous day already settling on his shoulders. He glances at the empty bed across the room, a bitter thought crossing his mind. Lucky me, hated right off the bat. The rest of the party had already left him behind. Sharing a room with you is a bit much. I'll just crash in Arya's and Ramiz's room, he scoffs, pulling the covers back. That damn playboy of a hero. The next morning, Ares finally emerges into a sun-drenched alley to find the rest of the party waiting, their expressions less than welcoming. Arya and Ramiz immediately get in his face. You're late, Arya shouts, how can you make the hero wait for you? Ramiz eyes him up and down, clutching her staff. Ares, are you a legit priest? Arya chimes in, completely lost, and what does that mean? Ares puts on a pious face, bowing his head slightly. I'm sorry, he says smoothly, I was performing my morning prayers. A smug grin creeps onto his face. Well, I could use more polite speech if you'd like. If this pleases you, then I shall behave politely from now on. Taudu-sama, Ramiz-sama. Ramiz isn't buying it. No, I mean, compared to other servants of God I've known, your choice of words is rather vulgar if I had to say. Ares' expression goes flat with annoyance. Jay, I'm getting the chills, what do you want me to do, really? Taudu, the ever-calm hero, steps forward with a gentle smile. Ares, did you have a pleasant rest? Ares' eyes glint with malice as he pictures Taudu sleeping soundly between Arya and Ramiz. Well, who wouldn't, he replies, his voice dripping with sarcasm. I get to hog a room for 2 and have it all for myself. Rather, how about you? It must be cramped with the three of you sharing a room. Arya's face flushes with anger. Hey, mind your words when you're speaking to Taudu Dono. Ramiz backs her up, shouting, she's right, you're being rude to the hero. Taudu raises a hand, his expression calm. It's all right, in fact. He turns to the girls. I'd like you to drop the honorifics when addressing me as well, Arya, Ramiz. Ares mutters under his breath, feigning humility. I'm not worthy of that. He winks, his friendly demeanor a complete act. Okay then. In a sudden move, Ares claps a hand firmly on Taudu's back, making the hero yelp in surprise. I'll be counting on you, Taudu. Arya is aghast. Hey, you forget being polite, you completely lack respect towards the hero. Taudu, recovering, quickly changes the subject. Since we're all here now, I suggest we head to our destination. From what I heard, it'll take about 5 to 6 hours by carriage to reach the village near Viru Forest. Taudu clenches his fist, a determined look on his face. Right, we don't have the luxury to dawdle around. Ares scratches the back of his head. Now, regarding our means of transportation, actually I've already prepared one for us. The party looks on intrigued. Before them stands a magnificent white horse hitched to a covered carriage, a legendary magical tool known as Grassland Wind. Ares gestures towards it. He glances back at the group, feigning ignorance. Anyone who can steer a carriage. Despite his question, Ares takes the reins himself, guiding the magical carriage out of the city as the others ride in the back, looking slightly bewildered. As they travel through a wooded area, a group of goblin-like monsters emerges from the brush, ready to ambush them. Without even turning his head, a flash of light glints in Ares' eye. He casually tosses a small, cylindrical object over his shoulder. The object erupts in a blinding flash of holy energy, instantly vaporizing the monsters where they stand. The carriage continues on without so much as a bump. Noticing a commotion behind him, Ares glances back. What's wrong? He asks, seeing Taudu hunched over. Taudu looks pale, covering his mouth. I need some fresh air, he groans. He retches, clearly struggling to keep his stomach settled. Ares stares, a bead of sweat running down his temple. Great, did he get motion sickness from riding a carriage? He peeks inside at the girls. What about the other two? They seem perfectly fine, looking on with concern. Taudu weakly defends himself. Figures, this carriage is comfier than most after all, but his green face tells a different story. Ares sighs and extends a hand. 6th grade abnormal status healing divine arts mini recovery. A gentle, warm light envelops Taudu, who immediately straightens up, his sickness vanishing in an instant. I feel better already, he says, amazed. Arya peeks out surprised. You did that, Ares replies with a deadpan expression. Well, I'm a healer. He turns back to the road, his thoughts grim. The first magic eye casted on my teammate is to cure their motion sickness. What a great start. Good grief, our future will be full of hurdles. They finally arrive at their destination, a bustling village teeming with adventurers and merchants. As they step out, an older man approaches them. Welcome, holy brave, I've been informed of your arrival. Taudu looks down, humbled by the title, but I haven't done anything worthy to be called a hero. The village chief waves his hands dismissively. Ah no, that's not what he's simply overjoyed to have them. Ramiz takes in the lively atmosphere, a smile on her face as she watches the happy townspeople. Ares notices her expression. Look who's in a good mood. Is the sight of a town other than the capital that special in the eyes of a sheltered princess? Ramiz retorts. So what, is it bad to feel so? Ares' gaze shifts, his eyes locking onto the gem atop her staff. I wouldn't say that, he murmurs, his expression turning serious. That's a highly translucent crimson jewel, a flare ruby, a favorite for fire spirits and its top-tier grade as well. He looks her dead in the eye. One question, what's the element you excel in? Is it fire? Ramiz nods. Yes, what about it? Ares' voice drops to a serious tone. I believe you've known this already, but don't use fire magic inside the forest. Ramiz' eyes widen in complete shock. Ares explains patiently, as if to a child. Are you forgetting something? We're about to enter the forest to do some leveling. We can't risk having a wildfire. Ramiz explodes, her voice filled with disbelief and frustration. Then how do I fight, without using my fire spirit? Ares facepalms, utterly bewildered by her question. Sorry, can you say that again? He looks at her confused. What do you mean? You could just use another spirit. Water, wind, anything works. Ramiz clutches her staff, her voice small but firm. None. The word hangs in the air. Ares tries again. Sorry, I don't quite follow. Like I said, you should just use spirits other than fire. She cuts him off. None. Ares blinks, his brain short-circuiting for a moment. He forces a strained laugh. Ahaha, come on, quit it with the jokes. His mind races, recalling the history of her lineage. Phrygia is among the 3 great households of elementalists for decades. Their blood runs deep through generations. Even the current head is contracted with 2 god-tier spirits. Ramiz puffs out her cheeks, annoyed. Right, but that's my father. The smile vanishes from Ares' face. A dark, angry energy begins to radiate from him. Hey. He snaps, his voice a low growl. I said quit it with the jokes already. You're a direct descendant of the Duke who has the blessing of the Spirit King, and you're telling me that you can't use anything other than the fire spirit. Ramiz glares back unfazed by his anger. Unbelievable, preposterous, you don't even earn a passing grade, I'm not here to babysit you. Ares grabs her by the collar, his face contorted with rage. This ain't funny at all, Ramiz Alfredia, how in the name of God can you fight? She yells back, that's what I've kept asking you this whole time. Taudu rushes in, pulling Ares back. Ares, stop, calm down. Ares ignores him, still shouting at Ramiz. Good lord, make a contract with another spirit and don't come back until you've done just that. Internally, Ares does a quick, terrifying calculation. If I had to put up an example, our 5% success rate just became 0%. A manic grin spreads across his face. Not that a mere 5% difference changes anything. I need to raise it to 100% either way. He forces himself to breathe. Okay, calm down, me, it's alright, there's no problem. The already worst possible situation just became much worse. He pushes Taudu's hand off his shoulder, his composure regained. Sorry, I'm good now. He turns to Ramiz, offering a stiff apology. I'm sorry, Ramiz, I went overboard. She just looks away, sure. Ares addresses the group. I'll be cooling my head for a bit, it won't take long, please wait. He turns and walks away, leaving a stunned and confused party behind him. They watch him go, completely silent. Ares finds a secluded alleyway, away from the prying eyes of the crowd. He raises a small, crystal-like object to his ear. It's all right, everything is still within the realms of possibility, he mutters to himself before speaking into the device. It's me, Ares, connect me to Cardinal Cleo. A smooth, feminine voice responds from the device. It seems you're quite angry, very well. The image of a long-haired, elegant man appears in his mind's eye. Any problem, Ares? Ares gets straight to the point. Yes, it's about Ramiz Alfredia. He takes a breath, trying to compose his report logically. I shouldn't let my emotions show. That way, finding a replacement for an elementalist who could only use the fire spirit should be plausible. He reasons that the higher-ups would have to be crazy not to agree. He waits for Cleo's response, who simply says, I'll start from my conclusion. Cardinal Cleo's expression is unreadable, his gaze cold and distant. His final verdict is delivered with chilling simplicity. Proceed like this. The words hit Ares like a bolt of lightning, short-circuiting his brain. He stammers, completely lost. Like this. Sweat drips down his face as he tries to comprehend the order. And what is this, like this? Cleo's voice is flat and final. They have their own reasons, but it's a secret I can't disclose to you, Ares. Anyway, there will be no replacement. Ares pushes back, desperate. There's none. Is the Rook's kingdom lacking that much manpower? Cleo ignores the question, but their average level is 16, good luck. The condescension is palpable. A smug look appears on the Cardinal's face as he delivers a final, mocking jab. You're on a trip with cute girls. You're quite the womanizer yourself, aren't you? Might as well enjoy yourself then. Ares grits his teeth. I'm trying to have a serious conversation right now. The connection cuts. The Cardinal is gone. Ares' mind reels. Damn it, the Cardinal is bent on this. There's nothing I can do to change his mind now. He holds the communicator, his voice low and heavy with dread. Cardinal, one last question. Is that God's as Greed's order? Cleo's voice echoes in his memory, smug and absolute. That is correct, Ares' crown. May Asgreed guide you. With a surge of pure rage, Ares crushes the communication device in his fist, the crystal shattering into dust. He rubs his temples, the anger giving way to grim resignation. I'll have to continue with these current members. His mind shifts into tactical mode, picturing the battlefield. In the first place, a mage's firepower is too strong. I'll need to have Ramiz get aware of that fact. He stares at the stone archway, plotting. In what way could I raise Taudu's level, and how can I make her bind a contract with other spirits? He thinks of Ramiz's stubbornness, but it looks like it won't be necessary. His gaze hardens as he focuses on the real objective. The problem would be after Taudu has leveled up. The village chief approaches the hero's party with a desperate plea. Taudu, the summoned hero, stands ready to listen, flanked by his companions. But beside him, the priest Ares already looks skeptical. Before the chief can even finish his tale of a high-leveled monster plaguing the area, Taudu flashes a confident, heroic smile. Say no more. We should go and subjugate it immediately. The village chief is overcome with emotion, tears welling in his eyes. You have my gratitude. To think you would accept my request instantly. You truly are the legendary Holy Brave. While Taudu accepts the praise, Ares' eyes narrow into slits. He's not buying this sob story for a second. Problems just keep popping out one after another, he thinks. Something about this stinks. Ares steps forward, cutting off the chief's flattery. His voice is cold. You mentioned a high-leveled monster. That's very ambiguous, coming from the chief of a village where monster hunting specialists gather. What is he plotting? Ares forces himself to remain calm, a single bead of sweat betraying his tension. He can't afford to lose his composure here. He presses on, and the target is. The chief reveals the monster's name, a grayshell plant. Taudu, ever the simple hero, strokes his chin thoughtfully. Grayshell plant, judging from the name, it must be a plant-type monster. Ares' internal monologue cuts in, ice cold and sharp. I've heard that name before, it's definitely not a plant. The image of a massive, stony serpent flashes in his mind. It's a dragon, a level 50 recommended subjugation for a full party of 6, and he's sending a level 15 hero after it. He glances over at Taudu, who's already striking a heroic pose. Ares sighs internally. To be fair, the chief probably doesn't bear any ill will. From his perspective, the holy brave is a superman destined to defeat the demon lord. What's one little dragon to him? But Ares knows the truth. He pulls Taudu aside, his expression grim and his voice firm. I'm against this. Taudu is completely blindsided by the rejection, his heroic demeanor faltering. Why? Ares doesn't mince words, ignoring the annoyed scoff from the village chief. We don't have the time to handle this small fry. I can't allow the hero to do anything that would lower his value. Ares catches the chief's dismissive attitude and his eyes flash with silent, murderous intent. Don't give me that HMPH, I'll murder you, old man. He turns his attention back to Taudu, trying to reason with him. He's still level 15, he won't win unless a miracle occurs. I can't allow Taudu to encounter the grayshell plant. Taudu turns to face his friend, his expression unwavering. Ares, I'm a hero. His voice rings with pure, unshakable conviction. I can't possibly ignore any of the demon lord's underlings that's causing harm to the people. Ares is completely dumbfounded by this reckless idealism. That's a splendid mindset, but where did you get this baseless confidence from? The village chief, seeing an opportunity, chimes in to support Ares. Well, he's right. A serpent isn't a worthy opponent for the hero to take on. The revelation catches the rest of the party off guard. A serpent, not a plant. The chief's face falls, his desperation returning. But for us, this is very important. He explains how rumors of the dragon are spreading, driving away the mercenaries that are the village's lifeblood. People are leaving. Their home is dying, and they're desperate enough to pin their hopes on anyone who might listen. This tragic story only fuels Taudu's fire. His eyes burn with determination. Ares, I'm the hero. I have the duty to protect the people of this world. Ares' patience finally snaps. His voice is sharp as a razor. No, your duty is to defeat the demon lord, nothing more, nothing less. Stop doing unrelated stuff. He pinches the bridge of his nose, forcing himself to take a breath. Don't snap here, Ares. Taudu isn't stupid. Surely he'll understand his role as he progresses through this journey. Suddenly, a mysterious cloaked figure speaks from the shadows, their voice echoing with confidence. Trust him, Ares Crown. Taudu jumps at the sudden voice, but Ares has already made up his mind. He grabs the hero's shoulder, his grip firm. You got it wrong, Taudu. I'm not telling you to abandon this village. Ignoring Taudu's confusion, Ares turns his piercing gaze on the village chief. Hey, if the grayshell plant is gone, then everything's good, right? The chief sweats under the intense stare, nodding nervously. Well, yes. Ares steps closer, his voice dropping to a menacing growl. You couldn't find anyone capable, so you pushed it to the hero. Fuck off, die. A cunning glint appears in Ares' eyes as a new plan clicks into place. That means it doesn't have to be us. Any mercenary would do, correct? The girls in the party watch the tense exchange, wondering what Ares is about to do. Ares declares his intentions, leaving no room for argument. I'll go negotiate with the mercenaries. You stay here with the girls, end of discussion. You're okay with that, Taudu? He doesn't wait for a reply, his mind is set, his focus absolute. Fine then, I'll do this, I just have to do this. With a final, determined clench of his fist, Ares turns and walks away. I'll crush every obstacle that stands in our way. Ares makes his way to the rougher side of town, the gathering place for hunters and sellswords. This must be the place. He pushes open the door to a noisy tavern, his calm demeanor a stark contrast to the rowdy atmosphere. He raises his voice over the din. Hey, who's the highest-leveled hunter here? The tavern falls silent. Every eye in the room, from grizzled veterans to fresh-faced rookies, turns to stare at the clean-cut priest. Thud, the sound of a heavy weapon hitting the floorboards echoes through the quiet room. A hulking, bearded man separates from the crowd, approaching Ares with an intimidating presence. The man, Gustav, smirks down at him. What brings you here, priest? Ares is unfazed. A monster subjugation request. I need it done by tomorrow morning. Gustav leans in, intrigued, and the target, Ares' reply is flat and direct. Grayshell plant. The entire tavern erupts in derisive laughter. The tension breaks as mercenaries mock the ridiculous request. Go home, ain't no one here would accept that. The room is filled with the sounds of jeering and laughter. A suicide mission proposed by a clueless priest is apparently the best joke they've heard all week. Ares simply raises 2 fingers, a soft light beginning to glow at their tips. He calmly chants the name of a spell, 3rd grade AA status recovery, Hexa area recovery. A wave of pure, golden light washes over the entire tavern, silencing the laughter as it passes over every mercenary. A female warrior stops mid-drink, her eyes wide with disbelief as the holy energy cleanses her. Wah. As the light fades, Ares stands untouched, a single spark of divine power vanishing from his fingertip. The mercenaries look at their hands, at their mugs. The fog of alcohol in their minds is gone, the lingering aches from old battles have vanished. Even Gustav stares into his now clear ale, his drunken buzz completely erased in an instant. He's sober and he's shocked. The last remnants of the powerful healing spell dissipate, leaving the entire tavern in stunned silence. Ares allows himself a small, internal smirk. Priests capable of casting Ea magic are rare, at the very least there's no one of that caliber here. Gustav's jaw is on the floor, and Ea magic, are you a high priest? Why would you be in a place like this? Ares looks at the now sober mercenary with a cool expression. That should cure your drunk. Now, are you ready to talk business? Gustav's tone is now one of pure respect. He gets straight to the point. You're looking for someone to subjugate the Greyshell plant, and our pay. Ares presents his first offer, a reward beyond mere gold, the Dragon Slayer title. Gustav raises an eyebrow, still skeptical. Unpaid work then. Ares elaborates on the true prize. The corpse of a dragon is a treasure trove, skin for armor, bones for weapons, organs for priceless medicine. A single hunt could make them rich for life. He lays out the final, unbelievable term. You may do as you wish with the corpse. I won't take any cut. The tavern explodes with frantic whispers. The offer is a dream come true, but the risk is terrifying. It's impossible with our levels. One man yells, but another argues, dumbass, we have a high priest here to support us. Miss this chance and you'll never get another. Ares' eyes narrow, his mind already 5 steps ahead. Being a hunter is a high-risk profession, he thinks to himself. Most of them fall before ever making a name for themselves. It takes more than skill, it takes luck. He scans the room of rowdy mercenaries. However, these are professionals, they should know the value of what I'm offering. Ares' strategy solidifies. Receiving buffs from a high-leveled priest can close any gap. It's an absolute game-changer. That's why I had to come here myself. A sharp-eyed man with dark hair, their leader, cuts through the murmurs. A powerful buff is one thing, he says, his gaze fixed on Ares. But will you be fighting alongside us? Ares raises a single finger, his expression calm and confident. Unfortunately, I won't. However, I will cast every single buff I possess beforehand. My enhancements last for 10 hours, so you won't need to worry about them fading mid-fight. He glances away, a flicker of annoyance in his eyes. I'd like to join to ensure victory, but... He internally pictures his own party, Taudu and the girls. I can't exactly leave the others by themselves. Their average level is a measly 15. The tavern falls into a tense silence. The other parties look away, unwilling to take the risk. Ares remains perfectly still, letting the weight of his offer sink in. It seems no one else will take the offer. Finally, the leader stands. Then we shall accept your request, he gestures to himself. I'm their party leader, Thomas Gregory. Thomas introduces his crew. The one who approached you earlier is our smasher, Marina. He's our sword master, Gustav. And this is our mage, Damien, and our priest, Eric. Ares gives a serene, almost detached smile. I'm a faithful servant of God. What other reason could there be than God's order, though I am considering retirement? Marina eyes him skeptically. What brings a priest like you all the way out here? Ares simply states his name. I'm Ares Crown, a servant of God. Thomas Gregory looks baffled. You can use an Ea spell of that caliber, and you're thinking of retiring? What a waste. Ares' smile doesn't quite reach his eyes. Well, you know, God is very demanding. Marina smirks, leaning in slightly. You're one interesting fellow, aren't you? Ares simply replies, I'm glad you feel that way. Cutting the small talk short, Ares turns towards the door. I suppose we've had enough chatting, let's move on to business. His thoughts race as he walks away. I need you to hurry up and take care of the beast, before Taudu loses his patience and charges into that forest alone. Leaving the mercenaries' guild, Ares makes his way back to the Reuten Inn. He finds his party waiting around a table, their expressions a mix of boredom and anticipation. Taudu, Arya, and Ramiz all look up as he enters. Arya is the first to speak, her voice laced with concern. Ares, how's the negotiation? Ares gives a curt nod. It went well, they should subjugate it by morning. He lets out a quiet sigh, a silent admission of the effort it took. I've done everything I could. He elaborates for the party. Their average level is 40. With my buffs, a dragon shouldn't pose a problem unless something major happens. Ramiz looks completely bewildered and a little betrayed. I can't believe you asked another party to deal with it, especially when now agreed to take it on our own. Ares blinks, momentarily confused by the name. Now. Arya quickly clarifies. She's referring to Taudu Neitsugu Dono. It appears that in his world, Taudu is his family name and Neitsugu is his given name. Ares processes this. That explains why. Should I do the same? He asks Arya. She looks at him, her expression unreadable. Do as you like. Ares dismisses the thought and turns his full attention to the pouting mage. He pulls out a strange metallic object. Right, Ramiz here. Ramiz looks up, confused. What's this? He holds up the revolver for her to see. It's a minor weapon called a revolver gun. You know of it now. Without waiting for an answer, he demonstrates, opening the cylinder. First, you insert a bullet made of metal and then you pull the trigger. The force from the explosive powder inside will propel the bullet out. He offers it to Ramiz, his tone dripping with condescension. I bought it since it can be used even by powerless people like you. The firepower isn't that high, so only use it for a finishing blow. Still, it's better than hitting monsters with your stick. Ramiz's face flushes with indignation as she explodes. I'm a mage, an elementalist, I'm not using that. Ares' gaze turns to ice. Look at you, complaining despite being a fake mage with only a fire spirit contract. Then how do you plan on fighting inside the forest? Use your fire magic, I hope not. Ramiz stammers, caught completely off guard by his verbal assault. That's. He presses his advantage, his voice low and cutting. It won't be a laughing matter if you set the Viru forest on fire. Would you carry the sin of burning a whole forest, a famous leveling ground, despite being in the hero's party? His sharp tone cuts through her pride. Ramiz Ajo-sama. Tears welling in her eyes, she desperately searches for an excuse. You are right, I can make a contract with other spirits, that way. Ares cuts her off, his voice flat and demanding. Then make it now. Silence. Ramiz freezes, her bluff called. She has no answer, only humiliation. Arya finally interjects, her tone disapproving. Ares, that's no way to talk to a girl. Taudu steps in, playing mediator. Ramiz, it's dangerous to face monsters without a weapon. You can decide whether to use it or not, but you should bring it with you, even more so since he already bought it for you. Ramiz looks at Taudu, her anger deflating into a reluctant pout. If now says so. Taudu gently places the revolver in her hands. She accepts it with a quiet, okay. With that settled, Ares gets back to business. We'll start from the forest's outskirts. I can heal most non-lethal wounds, so there's nothing to be afraid of. He internally assesses their chances. Now's combat prowess is still unknown, but I believe we can rely on Arya's sword techniques. They shouldn't be hurt badly unless we go too deep inside. He then adds out loud, we should be able to fare well with Arya and now here, even if we do bring a burden called Ramiz with us. Ramiz immediately snaps back. How rude, who are you calling a burden? Ares turns to her with a deadpan expression. Oh, there's something you could do. She shrinks under his gaze, mumbling meekly, I can make fire. An awkward silence hangs over the party. Taudu and Arya just stare, unsure of what to say. Ares changes the subject, already moving on. Have you stocked up on supplies? The silence is his answer. No. He takes command. Then that's our first priority. We need to prepare food and water, and don't forget medicinal herbs. While Holy Dre can heal wounds and poison, we should be prepared for any event. Taudu's eyes light up with curiosity. He turns to Ares. Holy Dre, can I learn that skill as well? Ares replies without hesitation, yes you can. The words hang in the air as Taudu contemplates the possibility. Holy Dre. Ares explains, you need talent for magic, but Holy Dre isn't magic. It's a form of prayer to God. We priests create miracles from our prayers. As the hero, you've received blessings from many gods, so of course you can use it. Taudu looks at Ares with a newfound determination. Are you interested? Ares asks. I am, Taudu confirms. Would you teach me? Ares is visibly surprised, but a thought crosses his mind. If the hero can use Holy Dre, it could be a strong weapon against the Demon Lord. No reason why I wouldn't. Ares stares, genuinely taken aback by the hero's eagerness to learn something other than fighting. He composes himself and turns to the girls. Now was just summoned here, we should teach him as much as possible. The more he knows, the better. His gaze drifts towards the window, looking out at the city, especially since we're comrades bound by the same fate. As they trek towards the ominous great forest of Viru, Ares breaks the silence, his gaze fixed on their summoned hero. Now, he asks, his tone analytical, have you ever fought monsters before? Taudu Neitsugu avoids his gaze, his answer a quiet, hesitant admission. No. From the other side, the swordmaster Arya chimes in, her expression firm. I have. She quickly clarifies, a hint of embarrassment in her voice. Though, I only ever dealt the finishing blow on monsters my father had already weakened for me. Ares processes this information, a conclusion forming in his mind. In our country, he thinks, it's custom for kids to reach level 5 by age 10. The fact that now has 0 monster-slaying experience is all the proof I need. He really is from another world. His eyes narrow slightly, probing the hero's psyche. So tell me this now, have you ever had to beat something helpless, something caged? The question hangs in the air, catching the entire party off guard. Ares clarifies, something like a dog, for instance. A bead of sweat forms on Taudu's brow. The memory, whatever it is clearly an uncomfortable one. Yes, he admits quietly. Before the conversation can continue, the clatter of a heavy cart and boisterous shouting fills the street. A party of seasoned mercenaries led by Thomas Gregory is returning from the forest. Taoru's eyes go wide as he sees their prize, the colossal, defeated corpse of a grayshell plant. "That's a big one," he stammers. "So monsters like that really exist." Ares glances at the massive beast, completely unfazed. "Relax," he says coolly. "That one is a huge catch. They don't show up on the outskirts where we'll be heading." The mercenary leader, Thomas, spots Ares and his young party, a triumphant smirk on his face as he approaches. His eyes lock onto Ares, a silent acknowledgement passing between the two men. Ares turns to face him, his expression an unreadable mask of indifference. Thomas and his crew erupt in laughter, basking in the glory of their successful hunt and the awe of the onlookers. Thomas gives a curt, professional nod. Ares dismisses him with equal brevity. "You've done your job, our business concludes here, we owe each other nothing." As the mercenaries pass, Taoru stares at their haul, a storm of doubt brewing within him. "Amazing, they can beat that monster, can I beat them, can I do the same?" Ares' voice cuts through his thoughts, sharp and direct. "It's not whether you can or not, you have to." He turns, his gaze piercing Taoru's, and for the first time he speaks the hero's full title, letting the weight of the words sink in. "For that is the reason you were summoned to this world, hero, Taoru Neatsugu." With their business in town concluded, the party sets off. The magical carriage rumbles along the path with Ares himself taking the reins. He glances back into the carriage at Ramiz. "Wanna switch?" Ramiz bristles at the suggestion. I thought you assumed I couldn't steer," Ares sighs. "That's why I'm permitting you to sit beside me, so I can teach you how to handle the ropes." She's not convinced. And why is that? If you had to choose, I'd rather you pick now or Arya to handle the wheel." Ares' logic is cold and pragmatic. "Because it is foolish to waste our precious mage's stamina on steering a carriage. We're supposed to protect you in the forest, not the other way around." He adds a final, confusing statement. "Besides, it's not possible for now or Arya to do this." Ramiz stares at him baffled. "Why?" Ares drops the bombshell without a hint of emotion. "It's impossible for Arya, because she doesn't possess any magic power." The statement hits like a physical blow. Wait, you lost me there," Ramiz sputters. "You said Arya doesn't have magic power," Ares confirms. "That's right." "She needs to be sure. And by that you mean none, zero," from the canopy above. Ares' voice is absolute. "Yes." Inside the carriage, Taoru listens, the shocking revelation sinking in. He looks over at Arya, seeing the famed swordmaster in a completely new and vulnerable light. Ares continues his explanation almost to himself. "A swordmaster with 0 MP, I recall there are rare cases, but how does she intend to fight?" He lays out the grim reality of her condition. "Without MP, you can't use magic tools, you can't use any combat skills as they all consume MP, just living normally would be a challenge." His thoughts turn to their mission, his frustration palpable. She may be his daughter, but why would the Sword King send someone so handicapped to defeat the Demon Lord? For God's sake, this party isn't some freak club. He finally reveals the key to her participation. There is an artifact that allows people with 0 MP to use magic tools. He describes it, a crystal ball that serves as a medium to store MP. It supplies the necessary power, but it needs to be recharged when it becomes empty. Ramiz surprisingly takes the news in stride. "You're unexpectedly calm about this," Ares notes. She pivots, "And what of Now's reason for being summoned? We should request a crystal ball when we get back to town." Ares raises an eyebrow at her composure. "Yeah, right," she snaps. "It's just that getting angry here won't change a thing. We can no longer change our members." With that settled, she returns to her original question, her gaze intense. "Back on the topic, what's Now's reason?" Ares tries to deflect. "I think not knowing would be better for your mental health," Ramiz scoffs. "Don't worry, my mental health already went down the drain these past few days." She presses him, her patience wearing thin. "It won't get any worse than it already is, tell me." But Ares remains firm. "As I thought, I'll refrain from telling you." Seeing her persistence, Ares deftly changes the subject, holding out the reins. "Fine, here, I'll teach you." Ramiz, seeing she's hit a wall, relents. "Okay." He guides her hands, showing her the proper grip to command the magical beasts pulling their carriage. With a gentle flick of the reins, she takes control. The carriage lurches forward smoothly. "Wow, it moved," she exclaims, a rare smile on her face. Ares gives a nod of approval. "Well done." As Ramiz focuses on driving, Ares' mind drifts to the grim timeline they face. This is the 10th day after the hero was summoned, he calculates silently. We only have 170 days left until the demons are noticed. Their journey takes them deep under the canopy of the great forest of Viru, a place teeming with life and danger. Suddenly, the very woods come alive. A monstrous tree erupts from the ground, its jagged maw roaring. Without a moment's hesitation, Taoru draws his sword and lunges forward to meet the threat head-on. Watching from the carriage, Ares is genuinely impressed. "That's a surprise," he muses. "The first monster he's ever faced, but he didn't even shiver." The fight is over in a flash. Taudu stands over the fallen treant, his blade clean, his stance perfect. Arya rushes to his side, beaming. Well fought now, Taudu tries to brush it off. I should be able to do at least this much, I'm the hero after all. Arya shakes her head, her eyes wide with admiration. No, that's wonderful swordsmanship. Have you ever trained with swords before now? His answer stuns her. No, this was my first time holding a sword after I got summoned here. We don't even have kendo in our PE lessons. Ares steps forward, his expression serious. Are you tired? Taudu shakes his head, feeling a strange energy coursing through him. I'm good. In fact, it was easier than I expected. Ares studies Taudu with a critical eye. All right, you don't seem hurt. Now for the important part. Let me check whether you got any exp or not. Taudu's eyes widen slightly, a hint of apprehension in his voice. Ah, right, does that require you to touch me? Ares explains matter-of-factly, I could do it without, but it's just easier with touch. Taudu doesn't hesitate. I see, no touch then. The firm rejection makes Ares pause, a flicker of concern crossing his face. Now, he asks quietly, you can't deal with physical contact. His mind flashes to the grand halls of a church, a place of ritual and tradition. But when performing a holy dre, he explains, physical contact is the norm. Deciding it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission, Ares ignores the request and places his hand firmly on Taudu's head, chanting the spell. Bless of Asgreed. Taudu flinches at the sudden touch but doesn't pull away, his expression a mixture of surprise and resignation. Well. A soft, ethereal light envelops Taudu as Ares' holy magic flows through him, assessing the battle data from his soul. Ares pulls his hand back, a faint smile on his lips. It appears you have enough exp to level up now. Arya, who had been watching, looks completely shocked. Ares, don't tell me you're capable of performing the level-up ceremony. I heard you need to be at least 4th rank or higher for that. Ares gives her a sideways glance, his tone smooth and confident. The church wouldn't send a priest who can't perform the ceremony to accompany the hero, would they? Arya concedes. You have a point. But internally, Ares is sweating. This is definitely not within the capabilities of a level 3. The random number I told them is starting to work against me. He turns his attention back to the hero, making the official declaration. With this, you're now level 16 now. You'll need 25,780 exp to advance to the next level. Taudu looks puzzled. That game-like announcement. I heard the same thing from the sister back at the castle. Is that really necessary? It's a rule, Ares replies simply. We have to tell them the details. Taudu can only mutter under his breath, what's with that half-baked RPG-like setting? With that settled, Ares moves on to their next task. What are you going to use the water for? Taudu asks. To create a prism barrier around our camp, Ares explains. It will help repel weak monsters, and the easiest catalyst for that is holy water. They make their way to a nearby stream. As Taudu watches, Ares kneels and fills a small bottle with the clear, running water. Taudu gestures to the bottle, confused. You said holy water, but that's just river water, right? Are you telling me this whole river is blessed? No, Ares clarifies, holding up the bottle. Casting bless on water will turn it into holy water. It's an exclusive and basic rite for priests. He closes his eyes, focusing his intent. With a quiet incantation, blessing water, a soft light flashes from within the bottle. The water now shimmers with a faint, holy luminescence. With that, we're done. This water has now turned into 100 lux per bottle holy water. Ares stands up, looking at Taudu. Pretty simple, huh? Every newbie priest makes and sells them as part of their training. So you only need to perform a cross to cast bless? Taudu asks, trying to understand the mechanics. Not just that, Ares corrects him. You need to do something more important, that is, praying. The concept is foreign to Taudu. Back in my world, praying doesn't do anything, he says, his voice distant. That's why every time I see that kind of spell being used. His eyes reflect the deep woods around them, the reality of his situation hitting him once again. It reminds me once more that I've really come to another world. Ares looks back at him, a challenge in his eyes. Didn't you watch me make one, perform a cross and pray? Taudu looks down hesitant. I don't know how. Without another word, Ares tosses a fresh bottle of water to Taudu, who fumbles to catch it. Try making one, he orders. Ares recites the formal prayer for him. O Lord, please save us, grant us your strength and your spirits to bring us blessings. Now your turn. Taudu raises an eyebrow. That's not what you chanted before, though. Ares gives a lazy thumbs up. I shortened mine, like I would repeat such a long chant every single time. Am I holding a mass or something? But I do pray within my heart. Clutching the bottle, Taudu looks at him with open skepticism. I really doubt you're a priest, Ares. Unlike the sister I met in the castle, you don't seem to have the slightest bit of faith. Despite his doubts, Taudu closes his eyes, holds the bottle, and recites the prayer with a sincerity Ares lacks. O Lord, please save us. Grant us your strength and your spirits to bring us blessings. The instant the words are spoken, the water erupts in a blinding flash of pure, holy energy, far more powerful than Ares' attempt. Taudu stares, shocked by the result. Ares' expression becomes deadly serious. That is bless, and that also serves as proof that you're loved by the gods. He looks down at Taudu's stunned, almost broken expression. That's one pathetic face, he says, his voice cold, but I can't have you break here. Taudu's voice is heavy with the weight of his new reality. Heroes are granted strong protection, but to those who don't wish for it, it's an extra burden. According to the records, none who were summoned have ever been able to return. Ares listens in silence, his gaze fixed on the young hero who carries a fate he never asked for. He lets out a quiet, frustrated sigh. What a pain. Taudu looks up, catching the priest's weary expression. What is it? Ares keeps his thoughts to himself. This, that, everything. It's like I'm being forced to buy a scam lottery. I don't have a speck of self-sacrifice in me, which leaves me speechless in front of the hero. He closes his eyes, pushing the cynical thoughts away to focus on the task at hand. Setting up a prism, that is. Taudu watches as Ares stands in the center of their campsite. You're making use of the holy water to set a prism, was it? Ares simply replies, yeah. Instead of sprinkling water, Ares simply stomps his foot on the ground. A hexagonal magic circle instantly flares to life beneath him as he chants, third-grade purification barrier, hexa holy field. Taudu stares at the glowing barrier. What's that just now? Ares answers without looking back, it's a barrier spell. The hero is completely lost, but you didn't use any holy water. Ares closes his eyes, a smug look on his face. I sprayed it around. Taudu is not convinced. To me, it looked like you only stepped on the ground though. Ares explains his technique with a straight face. I offered my prayer, please forgive me for stepping on the ground, K. Taudu deadpans, you just stepped on where you spilled the holy water. Ares finally drops the act, a sharp glint in his eye. The prism is one of the higher difficulty techniques of Holy Dre. I would save it for last to teach you. Taudu falls silent, realizing just how much more there is to learn about this world's magic, and about the mysterious priest guiding him. With the camp secured by the shimmering barrier, Ares turns to his companions. Can I count on you and Arya to procure food? Taudu nods, ready for the next task. Yeah, sure. The two warriors then venture into the darkening forest to hunt. Deep in the forest, the party takes a break. Ares turns to their leader, a thoughtful look on his face. Right now. His voice is calm, but the instruction is specific. Monkeys and wolves aren't edible, please find something else that's tasty. Now looks back, his expression a mix of confusion and skepticism. Can you even find tasty animals in this forest? I bet not. The small ones have probably been eaten by monsters already. His eyes narrow as the implication sinks in. Then, why are you suggesting we eat monsters? The question hangs in the air, a challenge to everything he thought he knew. Ares closes his eyes, a faint smile on his lips. He's not joking. I'd eat anything you bring, monsters or not. Now flushes completely thrown by the priest's casual attitude. Ares continues, some of the higher-leveled monsters are actually quite tasty, you know. He elaborates, painting a picture of a world now never imagined. Of course, there are kinds we can and can't eat. Among hunters, there are even those who work as gourmet hunters, seeking out these delicacies. Now pushes back, recalling his lessons. But I heard from the sister that eating monsters is prohibited by religious law. Ares just winks, completely unbothered. Relax, I'm all good. Ares' expression turns serious for a moment. But I'd refuse to eat demons, though this forest is inhabited with mostly animal-like monsters. The contradiction is too much for now. Ares, aren't you a priest? Why aren't you abiding by the laws? With a confident smirk, Ares gestures as if casting a spell. But I do. The fact that I can still use Holy Dre is proof of that. Now isn't convinced. All I see is a corrupt monk standing in front of me. Ares simply shrugs, the insult rolling off him like water. I hear that a lot. He decides to give now a proper lesson in theology and survival. The act of consuming monsters isn't viewed as wrong, it's not prohibited. Now looks down, trying to process this. The rules he lived by are being bent right before his eyes. Is that so? This forest is close to human settlements, Ares explains, his gaze sweeping over the dense woods. But as we go deeper, that distance will grow. When it does, we'll have no choice but to eat monsters. He lays down the fundamental truth of their world, a truth the church itself cannot deny. Humans can't survive without food, it's common knowledge, which is why the church can't forbid that act. Ares glances over at Arya, who seems to be taking it all in stride. You heard, he asks now, whose mind is clearly still reeling. Now's face is a mask of pure shock, sweat beading on his skin. The concept is just too alien, too grotesque. Eating monsters. Ares sighs, a hint of amusement in his eyes. We have a straight-laced one here, don't worry, it'll be fine. He looks towards the canopy, his tone final. Either way, it can't be avoided. For now, the lesson is over. They have preparations to make. Nearby, Ramiz has finished gathering a bundle of twigs and branches for the campfire. As she pulls out a flint stone to start the fire, Ares stops her. You have a flint stone, that won't be necessary. Suddenly, Ares' eyes widen in surprise as he senses a surge of magical energy. A small, shimmering creature appears on the ground. It's a salamander, a spirit of fire, its scales glistening in the dim forest light. Ares leans in, intrigued. "This is your contracted fire spirit," Ramiz nods proudly. "The name's Garnet." With a flick of its tongue, the tiny salamander spits a small ember onto the firewood. The wood instantly erupts into a roaring bonfire, the heat pushing them back. The sheer power is far beyond what a normal fire starter could achieve. Ares shields his face, a bead of sweat running down his temple. Well, this is surprising. He thinks to himself, analyzing the situation. It requires a high-level technique to materialize a spirit. Among common elementalists, that is akin to a miracle. To think that a level 10 is capable of such a feat. Ramiz notices his intense stare and asks innocently, "What's the matter?" Ares gestures to the inferno. "The flame is too strong, are you making charcoal?" He looks back at the spirit, trying to gauge its power. Gee Garnet. The little salamander looks up, seemingly unaware of the chaos it's caused. Ares assesses the creature. Salamander, its power level is around mid-upper class, a favorite among intermediate-level elementalists. He turns to Ramiz, a question forming in his mind. "So, you're capable of summoning a salamander?" She replies cryptically, appearance-wise, yes. That one phrase sends a jolt through Ares. Nanny. With a subtle motion, Ramiz snaps her fingers. In an instant, Garnet begins to convulse, its form distorting as a blinding light erupts from its body. A wave of pure energy and heat blasts through the clearing, forcing Ares to brace himself. The tiny salamander is gone. In its place towers a colossal being of pure flame, a monstrous form that dwarfs the trees themselves. They stand frozen at the feet of a legend. Ares' composure shatters completely. "This is absurd, Ifrit," he screams, his mind failing to comprehend the sight. "How is a level 10 elementalist capable of summoning a great spirit?" Staring up at the magnificent, terrifying form of the great spirit, Ares pieces it together. A high-ranked spirit is able to alter its shape to its liking, which means this must be its real form. It would appear our country didn't send Ramiz for jokes. He looks at the small girl beside him with new eyes. She's still level 10, but she possesses a potential I've never seen before. There's no way they'd send someone incapable to the hero's party. The realization brings a single, urgent question to his mind. Why? Ramiz looks up at him, confused by his sudden intensity. Ares grabs her, his voice desperate. "If you're this capable, then why can't you make a contract with other spirits? You don't find an elementalist who can materialize Ifrit every day." But Ramiz shoves him away, her face a mask of anger. "It doesn't concern you." He glares back, sweat pouring down his face, the weight of the world in his eyes. "Damn right it does, I didn't screw this world up, but..." His voice trails off, filled with frustration. He changes his approach, his hands gently taking her shoulders. His voice softens, but the urgency remains. "Ramiz, you're without a doubt talented, a genius in fact." He looks her directly in the eyes, pleading. "That's why, I beg you, do this for our world, form contracts with other spirits, make yourself able to use their magic." Ramiz stares back, her expression blank. Don't ask the impossible." Her casual dismissal makes him snap. "What do you mean impossible? Don't screw with me." The 10th day in the forest passes. The argument with Ramiz hangs heavy in the air, a problem Ares still doesn't know how to solve, but for now, their training must continue. 10 days grind by in the savage wilderness. For now, it's a crucible of fire and steel. With every swing, his movements become sharper, more decisive. He stands over the corpse of another fallen beast, his eyes cold and focused. The final blow is a blur of motion, a spray of dark blood painting the forest floor. Another monster down, another step closer to the power he needs. Watching from a distance, Ares analyzes their progress like a hawk. His internal monologue is a constant stream of calculations. Now's level is rising smoothly, he thinks, a flicker of approval in his eyes. Arya is next under his scrutiny. She leaps through the air, a whirlwind of deadly grace. She's changed her swordsmanship style, Ares notes. Even an amateur can see she's skilled, she should be able to hold her own for now. And then there's Ramiz. After nearly burning the forest down, she's learned her lesson, taking on the role of a cheerleader. From the sidelines, her voice rings out, "Now, Arya, fight." Ares' gaze lingers on her. She doesn't join the battles, so I've yet to surmise her weakness. She's an unknown variable, a puzzle he can't yet solve. Ramiz feels his stare and whips around, her eyes wide with indignation. "What?" Ares plays it cool, his expression unreadable. "It's nothing," he says aloud, but inside his assessment is sharp and unforgiving. "If I had to name one weakness, it would be her overly prideful self." The days are a blur of training. Ares has taken now under his wing, teaching him basic spells, survival skills, and even the sacred level-up ceremony. His role is clear, to forge this hero outside the heat of battle. Ares watches them, a sense of unease creeping in. All is good, he thinks, except for one thing. As night falls, the party settles down. Ramiz peeks out from the carriage, offering a soft, "good night." Aries, sitting watch, gives a silent nod. But he sees what's really happening. Tucked away in the carriage, Now is chatting comfortably with Arya and Ramiz, their faces close in the dim light. Aries' eyes narrow. It appears that his fear of touch only applies to men, or maybe, he muses with a hint of bitterness, just me. He sighs, the crackling campfire his only companion. The distance between him and the hero feels vast. Oh well, it should get better with time, I hope so. He runs a mental status check on the party. The results are in. Our current level is, now LV 27. Arya LV 25. She's keeping pace, her combat experience showing. Ramiz LV 17, still dangerously low. Her refusal to fight is a major liability. And mine still the same. He doesn't need the experience points, his mission is to guide, not to grow. He looks up at the dense canopy. Our top priority is Now's level, but I'd hoped for our lowest level member, Ramiz, to reach at least LV 20 in this forest. He glances back at the party, now quiet in the night. Well, nevertheless it's a good start, I suppose. Later, when the others are asleep, Aries slips away. Using a magic communication device, he makes his report. We'll proceed and raise Now's level to 30 before moving to another hunting place. I haven't felt any presence of the Demon Lord's spies nearby. The church also reported that the Demon Lord hasn't taken notice of our hero yet. He pauses, listening to the silence of the forest. That concludes my report. Suddenly, a low, condescending chuckle crackles through the device, making Aries flinch. The voice of Cardinal Cleo, smooth and mocking, fills his ear. It appears that you've taken a liking towards them. Aries scoffs, his irritation palpable. This ain't something like that, I'm just exploring every possible option. If I could quit right here, right now, I'd go straight back to my previous job. Cleo's voice remains infuriatingly calm from his lavish office. Unfortunately, I don't know of any other suitable candidate to send other than you. Please continue your work and keep me updated. Trapped, Aries closes his eyes, forcing the anger down. Understood, he cuts the connection. He lowers the device, a sharp k escaping his lips. The frustration is suffocating. He stares into the oppressive darkness of the woods, the weight of his mission pressing down on him. We're still at the start line, he mutters to himself, of our quest to defeat the Demon Lord. The next day, the 11th in the forest, the group sits around a crackling campfire. The atmosphere is tense. It's Now who breaks the silence, his gaze serious. I suggest we return to the town for a while. Aries looks up, surprised by the sudden proposal. But we're so close, I'd like to stay until we reached LV 30. Now pushes back. We'd lose a lot of time traveling to the town and back here. Aries counters, but we have time, right? Now's logic is sound. Holy prey can heal fatigue, but not mental stress. He argues that a single night in town would be more beneficial than grinding themselves into dust. Aries is conflicted. It's unsettling to leave when we could achieve our objective in another 3 days, but he looks at Now's determined face. He's our party leader, but... He lets out a slow breath, relenting. The decision is made. I'll follow our leader. A small smile touches Now's lips, a rare sight. Thanks, Now says, his voice sincere, also for teaching me how to use Prism. He holds up the magic tool Aries gave him. Aries shifts back into mentor mode. You should take a trial at the church to become a practitioner. If you pass, you'll be granted a magic tool that can aid you in performing Holy Dre spells. A magic tool, Now asks. Aries shows him the cross-shaped device he wears, something like this. As they walk, Now asks, what kind of trial is given? Aries explains, you'll be asked to cast spells in front of the tester. He looks at Now, a hint of pride in his voice. Remember my teachings and it shouldn't pose a problem to you. Back at the campfire, they finalize the plan. We'll spend one night in the town before returning here, Aries confirms. Now adds, and sell our loots while we're in town. That night, Aries looks up at the full moon, a sense of calm washing over him. I'm sure everything will go all right from now on as well. He allows himself a moment of optimism. There are many things I'd like to point out, but at least things are going smoothly for now. And so, they make the journey back. The familiar sight of the town walls rises before them. Just as they enter the gates, Now stops and turns to him. Aries pauses, a flicker of confusion on his face. Sorry. Now's expression is unreadable, his voice flat and devoid of emotion. Aries, I'm sorry, but would you please leave this party? The world freezes. The words hit Aries like a physical blow. His mind screams, a torrent of pure, undiluted rage and disbelief. I got kicked out from Taoru Neitsugu's party. Fuck. In the grimy back alleys of the city, a single, raw scream of pure fury echoes off the stone walls. Fu-wu-wuuk. Aries Crown, a priest of the Asgreed Church, seethes with rage. He activates his communication device, his voice cracking with urgency. Operator, a calm voice responds instantly, yes. On the other end of the line, the operator is taken aback by the sheer venom in his voice, letting out a confused A. Aries doesn't give her a chance to recover. Tell Cardinal Cleo that Aries Crown was kicked out of Taoru Neitsugu's party. The message is relayed. The recipient, likely the cardinal himself, sits calmly, processing the unprecedented news. What is that M? The memory of the betrayal is still fresh in Ares' mind. He grits his teeth, the words a low growl. Damn fucking playboy hero. The scene shifts, throwing us back to the moment it all fell apart. The hero, Taudu Neitsugu, speaks with a casual, almost apologetic tone. Sorry about this, Ares. Then comes the gut punch, delivered with a disarming smile. Would you leave our party? Ares is blindsided. The question hangs in the air, heavy and unbelievable. His mind struggles to form a single, crucial word. Why? Taudu's eyes are cold, devoid of any emotion as he delivers the final verdict. Because you're not needed anymore. He elaborates on his flawed logic. Ramiz can steer the carriage now, and I'm able to use Holy Dre. He sees Ares as redundant, a piece that no longer fits his puzzle. Ares scoffs internally. How foolish. He knows the truth. You can only cast lowest-tier spells. Taudu's confidence is built on a foundation of ignorance. He thinks to himself, true, now's divine protection is impressive, but it takes more than that to defeat the demon lord. This path leads only to ruin. Taudu tries to soften the blow, giving a backhanded compliment. Ares, you've been a huge help. While we do bicker a lot, you've done your share. He recalls their first meeting, already sensing the friction. You don't strike me as someone who would teach others his own skills. Ares remembers his response, a testament to his unwavering focus. Teaching you is part of my duty. I'm here to support your quest. I'm willing to do anything to raise our chance of success. But that's precisely the problem for Taudu. He looks away, his distaste clear. But I can't even begin to like that robotic side of yours. Ares' eyes narrow, cutting through the excuses. I'm not here to win your favor, he retorts. You think you could assume the role of both healer and attacker. Taudu's arrogance shines through, his belief in his own title absolute. I could, because I'm a hero. Ares is unimpressed. That's just you being arrogant. It's very difficult to do so, and it's not a hero's job. He speaks from a place of logic and experience, but Taudu isn't listening. The hero just smiles, completely self-assured. At the very least, I'm capable of achieving the minimum result. Ares analyzes the situation with cold precision. I'm afraid it's impossible. For now, he might be able to accomplish that in the near future, but not now. He lays out the facts plainly. In the first place, your Holy Dre isn't viable during combat. If you assume the role of a healer as well, the burden will cost you dearly. Ares drives the point home, his voice low and serious. That would result in a slower leveling pace, which will turn into a weakness that can be exploited by the demons. For a fleeting moment, Taudu's confidence wavers. The logic is undeniable, that much. But his pride wins out. He hardens his gaze, his decision made. I have already steeled myself for that. Ares is shocked. Taudu is willing to risk the entire mission, to risk the world for his own pride. He realizes the conversation is over. If he's willing to go that far, then it's no longer possible for me to change his mind. As a servant of the church, his hands are tied. While I do have the rights to object, I also have to respect his wishes. That is what the church has decided. Taudu then decides to reveal the real, pathetic reason for his decision. I ask you to keep this a secret, but originally, I requested for the party to consist only of female members. He continues, but for some reason they sent you. I thought it should be okay if you're a devout servant of God. Taudu gestures to the world around them, and you've certainly proven your prowess. But he says it's not enough. That's not even the problem. With a smug look, Taudu reveals the shallow truth. Because I prefer women's. Ares is rendered speechless. The sheer, idiotic selfishness of the hero of humanity is staggering. His mind reels in disgust. Such a selfish reason, and you weight the world on a scale against that. But Taudu isn't finished twisting the knife. He holds up two fingers. I have two conditions for your departure. Ares' eyes narrow with suspicion. Conditions, you say? Taudu nods. Yep, first. Taudu lays out his first demand. You are to find a new priest to add to our party immediately. He's not just firing Ares, he's making him find his own replacement. He explains it with a condescending tone, as if teaching a child. A party needs a healer. Without one, you'll definitely get wiped out in the future. Ares can't believe the audacity. You're giving me a warning despite kicking me out of the party. Taudu's eyes glint with manipulative cunning. Don't take me wrong, this isn't an act of goodwill. It's faith. He's weaponizing Ares' own devotion against him. The word hangs in the air, a bitter irony. Faith. Taudu is counting on Ares' piety to clean up his mess. Ares closes his eyes, the duty weighing on him. As unfortunate as it is, I'm a devout believer of God of order, as greed. He has no choice but to comply. Taudu makes a show of generosity. I do feel bad about this. I'll give you your share of funding we received from the country. Ares slams his mace down, his patience gone. Unnecessary. Consider it an investment for your victory. Taudu calmly reframes the offer. Use it to buy equipment for the new priest. Seeing the logic, Ares reluctantly agrees. Okay then. With the humiliating terms accepted, Ares turns to leave, eager to put this disaster behind him. But Taudu calls out, stopping him in his tracks. Ares, wait, I haven't told you my second condition. Ares glances back, his expression a mask of cold fury, waiting for the final insult. Taudu's voice is low, almost a whisper, but the command is absolute. Make sure you defeat the demon lord. The flashback shatters, leaving Ares alone in a crowded, noisy tavern. The laughter and chatter around him only amplify his isolation. His knuckles turn white as he grips his glass, the liquid sloshing from the force of his anger. Damn it. He throws back the drink in one go, the burn in his throat doing little to quell the fire of rage and frustration in his soul. The sting of Taudu's selfish words still burns. It sure has been a while since I last got treated like this, Ares thinks, his eyes narrowed to slits. The humiliation is a bitter pill to swallow. He finds himself in a noisy tavern, surrounded by the laughter and chatter of other adventurers. But for Ares, sitting alone at a wooden table, the room is completely silent, filled only with the echo of his own failure. Needing to report this disaster, he discreetly taps the communicator in his ear. It's Ares, he says, his voice low and steady, betraying none of the chaos raging inside him. A calm female voice responds, a familiar sound in the midst of his turmoil. You're safe. It's his operator, a lifeline back to the church. Ares swirls the dark liquor in his glass, the tavern's light glinting off the rim. Not exactly safe, he replies wryly, but yeah, I'm still alive. Sorry for the sudden outburst before. The operator's voice is all business. Understood, I'll get the cardinal on the line. A moment of silence hangs in the air as the connection is made. An image of a man with long silver hair and a serene smile materializes in his mind's eye. It's Cardinal Cleo. Ares, the cardinal's voice echoes, smooth as silk. Good to see you well. Ares's expression darkens. Yeah, well, the situation says otherwise, he reports grimly. I'm out of the hero's party now. Instead of concern, a soft chuckle comes from the cardinal. KH, totally unheard of, Cleo muses, a slight smile playing on his lips. What a pickle this has become. Cleo's tone turns serious, his question cutting straight to the heart of the matter. Ares, can the current Taudu Neitsugu defeat the demon lord? Ares scoffs, his report brutally honest. Is that a joke? He's only level 30. For the past 10 days, we've only hunted beasts. He can't even beat a single demon at his current level. He continues his assessment, painting a grim picture of their enemy. And demons are not animals. They possess intelligence equal or even superior to humans. Ares glances at the memory of Taudu's remaining party members. Their current party lacks a healer, and I've told them to remain on standby until they found one. He makes his formal request, the logical next step in his mind. I don't think we can find one soon. Please find a replacement. But the cardinal's response is chilling, completely derailing Ares's expectations. Ares, you haven't completed your mission yet. The words don't compute. Ares is taken aback, confusion clouding his features. Sorry. Cleo's voice is devoid of sympathy. This is a trial, Ares. There will be no replacement. The church will not send any. Ares's frustration boils over. What a bad joke. I'm out of the party by Taudu Neitsugu's order. How can I complete the mission? The cardinal's reply is a masterclass in manipulation. You're only out of the party, he says, his voice dangerously calm. Do you remember your mission, Ares? Allow me to remind you. The words are dragged from Ares's lips, a creed he has lived by, now feeling like a chain. To support the hero Taudu Neitsugu, to defeat the demon lord. A cold smile spreads across Cleo's face. That's right, in your words it should be business. Ares's eyes narrow. The word business feels like an insult, a reduction of his sacred duty to mere profit and loss. Cleo presses on, his voice like a priest giving a sermon. We are servants of God, we bring results. A temporary defeat doesn't count. That said, we don't overlook a defeat. Don't go overboard, Ares, he warns, a subtle threat laced in his calm tone. It'll be fine, even if we humans face an impending defeat. Another country would simply summon another hero. The political reality of their world is laid bare. Their mission isn't just about saving humanity, it's about securing their nation's power. Cleo's gaze is sharp, demanding, Ares, do you understand your orders? Silence. Ares stares into the dimly lit tavern, the cardinal's words hanging heavy in the air, trapping him. He turns, his back to the imagined vision of his superior, and reaffirms his duty. The orders that were given to me is, to support the hero and defeat the demon lord. The cold, hard realization dawns on him, his voice barely a whisper, which means it isn't over yet. A slow, deliberate clap echoes in his mind. The sound is not of praise, but of condescension. Ares's head snaps up, fury igniting in his eyes. Cleo, you. The pieces click into place, forming a picture of pure manipulation. You knew all along I'd get kicked out of the party, didn't you? The cardinal's response is maddeningly vague. All I know is that Taudu Neitsugu asked for a female priest. There is a reason behind every action. He continues, peeling back the layers of his scheme. Why Taudu asked for a woman? why they sent an amateur mage and swordmaster, and why we chose you. Each question is a dagger revealing that Ares was never just a supporter, he was a pawn in a much larger game. Ares is speechless, he's been played from the very beginning. Cleo's voice is triumphant. Ares, your job has just begun, whether you're in or out of the party matters not, I'll update your order. The cardinal's eyes are like ice. Support Taudu Neatsugu, defeat the demon lord, we don't have the leeway to humor the hero and find a replacement priest over his worthless reason. Ares sits alone at his table, feeling the walls of his mission close in around him. He finally finds his voice, a sharp accusation laced with disbelief. I've miscalculated the difficulty of this mission, is that what you're trying to say? Cleo twists the knife. Ares, this is your strong suit, business, you should be used to dealing with those who have strayed from the path of God already. Ares clicks his tongue in frustration, pointing out the glaring flaw in this insane plan. I'm lacking manpower. A sly smile touches Cleo's lips. Then I'll invest in you, Ares, I'll send you a priest, he says, his final words a mocking benediction. God bless you. The connection cuts. Ares's face contorts with rage, a single venomous phrase escaping his lips. Fuck off. He throws back his drink, the harsh liquid doing little to quell the fire in his gut. The initial rage subsides, replaced by a cold, hard resolve. This isn't a failure. This is a trial, he thinks, his gaze hardening, a tall mountain to overcome. His hand tightens around his glass, cracks spiderwebbing across its surface. I'll make this business of mine succeed no matter what. A new strategy forms in the ashes of the old one. I'll provide support for Taudu Neatsugu from the outside, and have them defeat the demon lord. The next day, Ares stands amidst the bustling morning crowd, the city coming to life around him. He scans the faces of the passers-by, a bead of sweat trickling down his temple. Cleo said that he'd send a priest, but how am I supposed to find someone I don't know from among all this crowd? Just as the thought crosses his mind, a soft voice cuts through the noise. Ares-san, right here. He turns startled, his eyes widening in surprise. Huh. A young woman with dark hair stands before him, her expression calm and professional. I'm from Asgreed Church General Magic Division, she states. Operator. She looks him directly in the eye, finishing her introduction. Amelia Norman, under Cardinal Cleo's order, I'm here to support you. Ares stares, dumbfounded. The priest Cleo sent was an operator. In the middle of a bustling city street, Ares locks eyes with a familiar face, his own expression a mask of disbelief. For real, he mutters, unable to process who's standing in front of him. Across from him, Amelia Norman meets his gaze with a deadpan look, her voice flat. For real. The scene shifts to a noisy tavern, but the table where Ares and Amelia sit is shrouded in a tense, awkward silence. Something is definitely off. Ares's eyes narrow, his suspicion growing. He scans her attire and the first red flag pops up. She's not wearing a priest symbol, he thinks, a crucial piece of identification for anyone in her supposed profession. His gaze drops to her hand, another red flag, nor a ring that proves she's a bride of God. This isn't adding up. A bead of sweat rolls down his temple as the frustration boils over in his mind. That Cleo. First he sticks me with a hero's party that's specifically looking for a female priest, and now he sends me a woman who's not even a priest. Pushing his chair back, Ares stands up, forcing a neutral expression. Sorry, can I make a call? Amelia just nods, her expression unreadable. Sure. Finding a secluded corner, Ares activates his communication device, his face grim. He needs answers, and he needs them now. He waits, annoyed. Strange, they usually pick up immediately. Just as he's about to lose his patience, the line crackles to life with a panicked, unfamiliar voice. Wawa, yes, hello, this is the church main division. Ares doesn't have time for pleasantries. His voice is cold and sharp. It's Ares, connect me to Cardinal Cleo. The new operator seems completely flustered by his tone. Ares-san, nice to meet you. I'm assigned to the operator position as of today. She continues, stammering through her introduction. Stefan Bronnet, I'm pleased to make your acquaintance. Ares pinches the bridge of his nose, his patience wearing thin. What's with her? What happened to the previous operator? He wonders before speaking into the device. Stefan, I'm Ares Crown, nice to meet you too, so now can you connect me to Cleo? His directness only makes her more frantic. Why yes, nice to meet you too, Ares repeats his demand, his voice dropping an octave. Connect me to Cleo. As he's put on hold, Ares leans against a wooden post, scowling. How inefficient. Finally, a smooth, bored voice comes through the line. It's Cardinal Cleo. Ares, is there another problem? You see, I'm rather busy right now. Ares glances back towards the tavern floor where Amelia is still waiting. It's about the person you sent, he says, keeping his voice low. A woman that doesn't wear any priest symbol came. Cleo sounds completely unconcerned. She doesn't, no, maybe she just took it off. She's without a doubt a priest and one whom you know well of. Ares presses the issue, his voice tight with irritation. She took it off, but the rules forbid them from taking it off unless they're taking a bath or asleep. He continues, listing his grievances. Also, I've never seen her before, and I thought you wouldn't invest a female priest for me. Cleo pauses. Now that's weird. She said that she had met you before. Ares is taken aback. Would she? His eyes drift back to Amelia, who sits patiently at the table. Could there be a connection he's missing? Cleo's voice turns philosophical. Providing support from the shadows is a difficult road to tread, especially on a journey to defeat the demon lord. It's not only physically but also mentally exhausting. The cardinal's tone becomes condescending. Ares, you have too many complaints. You do know that I'm the cardinal, right? You should ask the person herself. Ares clenches his jaw. It's not like I'm complaining because I wanted to. Cleo lets out a thoughtful hum. Still, I had high hopes in you. He dangles a new offer. If you'd like someone else, I do have a person in mind. Ares' suspicion spikes. With Cleo, there's always a catch. And who's this other candidate? A cheerful image of the new operator, Stefan, flashes in his mind as Cleo suggests her. The sister named Stefan Bronnet. Cleo continues his sales pitch. She possesses high magical and holy power. She's also the youngest operator ever. She's inexperienced, but you can follow her up on that part. Ares immediately shuts it down. The girl from before, she's more of a liability than an asset. She's more trouble than help, really. Cleo sighs dramatically. There's also another one who's currently free, a member of the special division just like you from the Out Crusade, but I'm sure you would decline, so I haven't brought up their name. But he lets the name drop like a bomb. Nicknamed the Mad Eater, Ares' composure shatters instantly. Fuck, he roars, the sound echoing in the small alcove. On the other end of the line, Cleo simply waits, unfazed by the outburst. Ares is seething, his mind flashing back to a past mission. I know that name, I've also met them before, we even went on the same mission. The memories are not good ones. Gregory Regents, a member of the Out Crusade, a mad person who can only use exorcism magic, dedicating their whole faith into offensive power. He remembers the man's insane battle lust, his absolute focus on destruction above all else. His thoughts conclude with venom. He's certainly not the type of person who would submit under someone else. For the longest time, I've wished for them to be removed from the Out Crusade. Cleo's voice is devoid of sympathy. I see. After all, the church is lacking with manpower, then you'll have to make do with the personnel I've sent. Defeated, Ares exhales slowly. Roger that. He decides to change the subject before he loses his temper again. Also, the operator changed. What happened to the previous one? There's a slight pause on Cleo's end. Then the cardinal's voice returns, dripping with smug satisfaction. Why, you ask? That's because I sent her to you. The words hang in the air. Ares stares blankly at the wall, the pieces clicking into place with horrifying clarity. You sent her. An image of Amelia, fiddling with a strand of her hair, flashes in his mind. The realization hits him like a physical blow. For real, no wonder I felt like I've heard her voice before. So, she's that operator, which means we've been acquaintances for a long time, albeit just over the line. His mind short-circuits, all logic and composure vanish in a wave of pure rage. Are you retarded? He grips the communicator, his voice a furious snarl. Why would you dispatch an office worker to the field? The line goes dead. Cleo hung up on him. Hello, you piece of sh. Hey. Fuming, Ares stalks back to the table. Amelia watches his approach, her expression calm as ever. He takes a deep breath, trying to shove his anger down. Sorry for making you wait. Amelia simply shakes her head slightly. It's okay. Ares decides to start over properly this time. As you might have known already, I'm Ares Crown. I'm a member of the Out Crusade. Amelia nods. I know. She formally introduces herself in turn. I'm from Asgreed Church's General Magic Division. Operator, Amelia Norman. I believe you've known this, but I used to serve as your operator. Ares cuts straight to the important questions. Your level, her answer is surprisingly direct. It's 55. He raises an eyebrow, genuinely impressed. Okay, not what I expected from an office worker. His mind starts calculating, a new plan forming from the ashes of his anger. Not bad, she's not bad at all. True, she's lacking in offensive power, but she could be a substitute for me in the holy magic department. He gestures to her attire. Where's your priest's symbol? In response, Amelia calmly pulls a small, tied pouch from her clothes. I have them with me. Ares stares at the pouch, confused. Why didn't you wear them? She looks away, a hint of something unreadable in her eyes. I'm curious whether Ares-san would recognize me or not. He can't believe it. She took them off for that dumb reason. Does she think she lives outside of the rules? He sighs, deciding to let it go. I see, my bad. No, I don't mind, she replies softly. But her strange test gives him an idea, a brilliant, risky idea. A slow smile creeps onto his face. This might work. He pictures Taudu's party, the naive hero, and his companions. She has a general understanding of our situation. I could send her to Taudu's party as a new priest, while acting as my spy as well. A newfound respect for his manipulative boss dawns on him. Not bad, Cardinal. He thinks back to Cleo's words. You told me that you won't invest any further in the hero, but now you sent me this amazing personnel. He says he's investing in me, but who knows what his real intent is. Aries smirks. Geez, I thought he was serious about abandoning the hero, but he makes for a good villain. He assesses the situation with Amelia. I don't expect her to play an active role in battles. The lack of battle power does worry me, but she gives me the merit of moving freely. He clenches his fist, the plan solidifying. We could form a two-sided support for Taudu, where I'm in charge of eliminating every possible threat. The plan is perfect. It solves all his problems. This also solves another worry of mine on how to support Taudu when I don't know their course of action. Lady Luck is smiling towards me. He recalls Taudu's latest blunder. That guy accepted a dragon subjugation request without giving much thought, you know. He's on a straight road to hell. His expression turns sharp, almost predatory. Right, this is the appropriate solution. He needs this kind of support. Rejoice, my dear. He leans in close to Amelia, his sudden intensity making her flinch. She recoils, startled by his abrupt change in demeanor. Aries collects himself, putting on a serious, professional face. Amelia, after taking your addition into consideration, I've come up with a plan. She looks at him, her curiosity piqued. That is. He gives her the first step of the mission. I'd like you to immediately head to the inn where Taudu is staying. He explains the logic. The Cardinal mentioned that he would send another person if there's someone available, but considering our current situation, it is very unlikely to happen. I can't get a read on his course of action. He leans over the table, emphasizing the stakes. We don't know when Taudu will bite the dust, so we need to move efficiently. Amelia listens, her gaze fixed on him, taking in every word. Aries looks her dead in the eye, delivering the core of his master plan. Amelia, you'll join Taudu's party as a priest to provide them support while also providing me information. She stares back at him for a long moment, then with zero emotion she delivers a soul-crushing rejection. No, thank you. Aries' entire world grinds to a halt. His perfect plan, his brilliant strategy, all of it, completely and utterly destroyed by 3 simple words. Aries stares, a bead of sweat tracing its way down his temple. Her refusal was so blunt, so absolute that for a moment he's at a loss. No, he questions, unable to process it. Across the table, Amelia's expression is placid, her eyes wide and unblinking. No, she repeats, the single word delivered with zero hesitation. Before Aries can argue, she leans forward slightly, her voice low and serious. Aries-san, have you ever thought about it? The real reason why Arya and Ramiz were chosen for Taudu's party. His eyes narrow into sharp slits. The question cuts through his surprise, replaced by a familiar, cynical focus. Of course I have, he states coldly. There isn't a single day that I haven't. He begins to lay out the puzzle. Think about it. Taudu might have asked for women, but why them specifically? They have potential, sure, but they also have glaring flaws. From a purely tactical standpoint, it's inefficient, he continues, his mind's eye picturing the grand architecture of the kingdom. And there's no way the country of rooks, for all its political maneuvering, doesn't realize that. He recalls his own attempts to optimize the party. When I asked for a member change, my proposal was denied. That's when I knew there was an undisclosed reason, a hidden agenda behind their selection. Amelia watches him, her gaze intense as she presses the point. I'll ask one more time, have you thought of the reason why? Aries meets her gaze, a flicker of annoyance in his eyes. I have, he clips out. She simply replies, please tell. He takes a swig from his mug, the noise of the tavern fading into the background. It's just a guess, but he knows he's right. And he knows she's just forcing him to say the ugly truth out loud. He thinks to himself, this woman, she already knows the answer and she's still making me say it. He finally sets his mug down, his voice dropping to a near whisper. It's blood. Looking her dead in the eye, he elaborates, the grim reality of his words filling the space between them. The kingdom of rooks, their goal is to get their hands on the hero's blood. Amelia remains silent, her lack of surprise being the loudest confirmation he could ask for. Aries continues his dark theory. By forming a familial bond with the hero who defeats the demon lord, the royal family gains immense authority. There's even a chance his divine protection could be passed down through the bloodline. It's happened before. But there's a problem, he adds. The current royalty has no princess to offer, and when it comes to controlling men, seduction is the most effective tool. Taudu isn't just a hero, he's an asset, a high-risk investment summoned by the kingdom. He's expected to bring them profit far beyond just killing the demon lord. And that, Aries says, picturing the 2 girls, is where Arya and Ramiz come in, daughters from distinguished, loyal families. They are the kingdom's silver lining, their instruments to secure the hero's lineage. A bitter frustration flashes in his eyes. I should have noticed it from the very start. Arya with her military background and Ramiz, a sheltered noble's daughter. Neither would normally be so quick to share a room with a man they just met, hero or not. They must have received orders from their families. He leans back, the final piece clicking into place. Taudu probably realized all of this. He saw the game being played and kicked me out because I was an obstacle, an unnecessary variable in his state-sanctioned harem. Ares scoffs, a mental image of his superior, Cardinal Cleo, forming in his mind. That Cardinal Cleo, he certainly has a nasty personality to orchestrate something like this. Amelia looks at Ares, her expression a mixture of awe and apprehension. Ares-san, you're such a horrifying person, she finishes, her voice barely a whisper. The sheer, cold logic of his deduction is what truly unnerves her. Ares simply takes another drink, unfazed by her assessment. He looks at her from the corner of his eye. You prioritize efficiency, you expect others to be capable, you're no different. She leans in again, her voice firm. I'll ask you one more time. Ares sighs, a slight, almost imperceptible smile touching his lips as he closes his eyes. He was testing her and she passed. You win. Her eyes bore into him. Then why did you ask me, a bride of God, to perform such a nasty task? His reply is instant and sharp, a verbal jab. Because you're a nasty woman. He admits, but I'm still not at your level. Her mind races. Ares-san, did you perhaps think about sending me as an offering for the hero, she asks, the image of herself as a sacrifice flashing through her mind. Ares considers it. Offering is a weird way to put it, but you're not far off the mark. Taudu is only level 27. A level 55 priestess like you should be able to resist him if it came to it. She looks down, for now maybe, but how long can the fragile me resist a man who stands on the front lines? Ares almost scoffs. Honestly, you're the last person I would ever think of as fragile. Amelia's gaze turns sharp. Are you telling me to throw away my faith? Ares leans back, conceding the point. Fornication is against church law. I can't force you, it's my loss. She looks down at her hands, her voice soft again. Have you understood the reason behind my reluctance? Ares closes his eyes in defeat. Yeah, it's my loss. Also, Amelia begins, her tone shifting once more. She stands, recalling her orders from the Cardinal himself. The order I received from Cleo-san is to support you, Ares-san, nothing more, nothing less. The implication dawns on Ares, his eyes widening slightly. That means, joining the hero's party is out of your contract. Yes, she confirms with a simple nod. That's how I perceive it. Ares lets out a frustrated sigh, thinking of the smug Cardinal. Damn Cleo, you should have mentioned that sooner, prioritizing your subordinates over the holy brave. But then a darker thought crosses his mind. Nay. Amelia corrects him. He's not that kind of person. He's far crueler than me and will do anything to achieve his goal. In fact, the way I run my business was influenced by him to a great degree. Ares processes this new information. This woman and the man who sent her are far more complex than he imagined. He decides to change the subject. Let's get into the main discussion. Amelia, what are you capable of? She answers with a deadpan expression. Cleaning, handling laundry, cooking, I can't do any of them. Ares explodes comically. Hello, then why bother telling me? Ignoring his outburst, she continues. As for my combat capabilities, I can cast most intermediate-level holy magic. The best I could do otherwise is swing a mace. He studies her, trying to get a read on her nerve. Are you afraid of monsters? She meets his gaze without flinching. Do I look like I'm afraid of them? Ares thinks to himself, I must admit she has guts. Better than not having any, I suppose. Her next words are quiet but heavy with meaning. If I had to say, I'm more afraid of humans than monsters. A genuine, slight smile appears on Ares' face. What a coincidence, me too, since you won't be joining the hero's party. How about tailing them instead? Are you up for the task? She closes her eyes, a sense of purpose settling over her. Ares-san, I'd gladly offer my service to you, even more so since I signed up for this of my own free will. Ares' analytical mind grinds to a halt. Signed up. The pieces rearrange themselves in his head, which means she wasn't chosen. She volunteered herself to do this. He stares at her, completely blindsided. Are you kidding me? The tension of the previous night gives way to the quiet light of a new day. A soft good morning pulls Ares from his thoughts. He looks up to see Amelia standing in his doorway, no longer in her casual attire, but in the official, form-fitting uniform of a priest. Yeah, he mutters, still processing the change. Sitting up on his bed, he looks her over. So you're a legit priest, he says, a hint of disbelief in his voice. You're not making any sense. He shakes his head, a wry smile on his face. Good grief. It makes it seem like her attitude from yesterday was all lies. That's one twisted sense of humor. Later, under the shadow of a grand clock tower, their mission begins. Ares scans the streets below. We'll wait for Taudu and the others here. Amelia stands beside him, silent and ready. To fill the gap I've left behind, he'll probably come to the church to recruit a priest, Ares explains, emphasizing his next point. A female one, that is. Or, he considers, his eyes narrowing, he might take the test and assume the role of priest himself. Amelia simply acknowledges the possibilities with a quiet, okay. Ares glances at her. I'd like to know what Taudu is planning to do. He turns to her, giving her the directive. Since they know my face, you'll be the one making contact with them instead. She looks out over the city, asking the important question. I can refuse if they invite me to their party, right? Ares gives her a reassuring look. Yes, I don't mind. He turns away, adding, and I also don't mind if you accepted. He's giving her a choice, a test of her true allegiance. Her answer is immediate, unwavering, and absolute. I refuse. From a safe distance, Ares keeps a watchful eye on Taudu's party. His gaze is sharp, analytical. How's the situation inside, Amelia? He asks, his voice low. Amelia's voice reports back, tinged with a hint of pity. It appears he took the priest certification exam and failed. The image of Taudu, head bowed in defeat before the examiner, flashes through Ares's mind. Ares's expression doesn't change. No surprise, no disappointment, just cold confirmation. Thought so, he mutters to himself. Amelia continues her explanation. To even qualify as a 5th-rank priest, one must be able to perform the lowest-level spell continuously for 2 weeks straight. It's the absolute bare minimum. Her voice grows more serious. As he spent his holy power, his divine protection would have diminished, causing an exhaustion so profound his body would feel like lead. It's a rite of passage every priest has experienced. The church doesn't pull any punches with their exam, she adds. Using holy magic takes a burden on one's own life source. Exhausting all of it could have endangered his life. Ares's eyes narrow, processing the information. Taudu has only spent 10 days casting holy magic, he thinks. His growth speed is abnormal. He clenches his jaw. What he's currently lacking are time and perseverance, and that's exactly what I plan to drill into him, one step at a time. He can't deny the boy's potential. The divine protection on him, his growth speed, and his talent, all of them are remarkable, but raw talent isn't enough. Amelia's voice cuts through his thoughts. Ares-san, what's their next move? She reports it appears that they've received a quest from the village chief. Ares remains impassive. What kind of quest? Amelia hesitates for a moment. It seems like a monster called a grayshell plant has appeared. Ares's composure shatters in an instant. His face contorts with rage, veins popping on his forehead. Isn't that done already? He forces himself to calm down, his anger simmering into a cold fury. Whatever, I understand the situation, he says, his voice dangerously low. What do you plan to do? Amelia asks. A shadow falls over Ares's face. I'm paying the village chief a visit. Moments later, Ares stands before the chief, his presence filling the room with menace. Have you reported the appearance of the grayshell plant to the capital? The village chief, sweating under the intense pressure, stammers, Why yes, of course. Ares's eyes are like chips of ice. I don't mean the first one, I'm talking about the second one. The chief flinches. I'm just about to report it. Ares presses on, his logic inescapable. Why, now that a second one has appeared, you can request for an investigation team to be dispatched, to find the root of this problem. The chief tries to bluster his way out. It is exactly as you say. I've requested for the hero's assistance in Ares cuts him off, his patience gone. Are you messing with me? Why is everyone such a I believe I've already told you that the hero doesn't have the time for that, Ares growls, his voice a low threat. The chief makes a fatal mistake. He smirks, a dismissive, condescending look on his face. Even if you say that, Ares-sama, you're no longer a party member, aren't you? Ares's eyes go dead. This is hopeless, he thinks, a cold realization dawning on him. He's clearly looking down on me. A faint, ominous light begins to glow around Ares's clenched fist. The air crackles with power. With a sharp glare, he unleashes the energy in a directed blast. The chief's smug expression instantly morphs into one of pure, unadulterated terror. Kaboom! The blast rips through the side of the building, tearing a massive hole in the stone wall. Dust and debris settle, revealing the devastation. The chief stands frozen, staring at the gaping hole where his wall used to be. He can only manage a choked, terrified syllable. Wah. Ares's voice is chillingly calm amidst the destruction. Yes, you're absolutely right, I'm no longer a party member. He turns to face the trembling man. However, I'm a priest affiliated with the church. I'm tasked with the mission to help the holy brave, and I have the means to do so. He looms over the chief, his shadow swallowing him whole. I'll break any obstacle standing in their way. Anyone who tries to obstruct God's order, be it humans or demons, they're all the same. They're all enemies of God. Ares's eyes seem to glow with divine, terrifying light. Hey. He leans in, his voice a whisper that carries the weight of an executioner's axe. Are you an enemy of God? Leaving the terrified chief to contemplate his life choices, Ares walks away. This won't do, he thinks, his mind already racing. He knows Taudu's naive idealism is a liability. If this goes on, Taudu will be heading straight to his own grave. I need them to experience a battle where their life is at stake. Amelia finds him moments later, her expression serious. What's your plan? Ares considers his options. While I can always eliminate any possible obstacle, doing that won't do any help in changing Taudu's current mindset. His eyes gleam with a cunning, dangerous idea. So, I'll have them fight a battle where their life is at stake, without taking any risk. Amelia is confused. You'll have them fight the gray shell plant, but it's not an enemy Taudu can defeat at his current level. Ares nods. It's an attractive offer, but no. If I had to choose, he continues, I'd pick one with enormous attack power. One that could blow him away would be most effective. He needs to shatter Taudu's worldview. He lays out the brilliant, manipulative plan. Simply put, I'll weaken the gray shell plant to the point where it would make Taudu struggle but still win. That way, he gets the exp for the finishing blow. Amelia's eyes widen with concern for him. Ares-san, I'm coming with you. He dismisses her offer with a simple firm, that would be unnecessary. He gives her a different task. I need you to buy me some time and just this once accompany them, keep them occupied. She understands her role perfectly. I understand, how long do you need? One day, at the very least half a day, Ares calculates. I'll have to start from finding its location. He turns to leave, his mission set. Amelia watches him go, whispering a quiet prayer. God bless you. Deep within the dark, tangled woods, Ares moves with silent purpose. He pushes through the dense foliage, his senses on high alert, hunting his prey. He stops, there it is, but as he takes in the creature's form, a grim realization dawns on him. Found them, but this thing, it's not your ordinary gray shell plant. The monster lunges and Ares meets it head-on, his mace crashing against its stone-like body with a deafening crack. His suspicion is confirmed in the heat of battle. This is a far more dangerous variant, a superior one. The force of their clash sends tremors through the ground, splintering nearby trees. The battle is a whirlwind of motion. Ares, a blur of white and steel, dodges razor-sharp claws and counters with brutal, calculated strikes. He brings his mace down in a devastating arc, shattering a piece of the monster's tough exterior. As the creature stumbles back, a pained, guttural voice grinds out, G-I-W hi, yo you. Ares pauses, surprised. What, you can speak? His surprise quickly turns to cold pragmatism. Then I'll have to crush your throat, can't have you telling Taudu strange things. He readies himself again, his job not yet finished. The monster is weakened, but not enough. With another powerful swing, he lands a crushing blow, battering the creature into submission. The violent sounds of battle echo far beyond the clearing. Taudu's party miles away stops dead in their tracks. Amelia's head whips around. What's that sound? Back in the clearing, Ares stands over the broken, unmoving form of the gray shell plant. Now then. All's left is to wait for Taudu's arrival. Drawn by the noise, Taudu, Arya, Ramiz, and Amelia burst into the clearing, ready for a fight. But what they find stops Taudu cold. His eyes go wide in disbelief. This is. Lying in a heap is the gray shell plant, its body covered in deep cracks and grievous wounds, clearly on the verge of death. It's a brutal, pathetic sight. The monster is utterly helpless. Taudu's face twists in horror and pity. He whirls on Amelia, his voice cracking with emotion. How cruel, Amelia-san, heal. Amelia stares at him, completely baffled. Heal the monster they were sent to kill. Watching from the trees, Ares can only sigh in exasperation. Now what? This was not part of the plan. Taudu looks at Amelia as if she's the crazy one. Amelia-san, are you suggesting for us to kill it in this state? Amelia is at a loss for words. Why should I heal it? Taudu pleads, please attend to its wounds before it's too late. Trying to bring him back to reality, Amelia states the obvious. Yes, that's our target. As it is now, we should consider ourselves lucky and finish it with a single blow. Taudu recoils in disgust. Don't be ridiculous, this thing can no longer fight and we're supposed to kill it. His naive righteousness explodes into a furious shout. Do you not have morals? I didn't become a hero just to bully the weak. Amelia is left utterly speechless by his outburst, unsure how to even respond. From his hiding spot, Ares winces. Bullying, did I weaken it too much? He shakes his head. No, if I don't do this much, Taudu won't be able to win. Amelia looks around helplessly, silently asking Ares for direction. He realizes arguing with the hero is a waste of time. Stepping out from the shadows, Ares' voice is flat and devoid of emotion as he gives a simple command. Heal it. Though confused, Amelia obeys without question. She raises her hand and a warm, holy light begins to gather. The healing energy flows over the broken monster, enveloping it in a brilliant glow. The party watches, completely bewildered. What? Their eyes are wide with shock as the light intensifies, the monster's form shifting and changing within the radiance. When the light finally fades, the monstrous gray shell plant is gone. In its place lies the unconscious, naked body of a young woman, the monster, turned into a girl. Ares stares at the unbelievable outcome, his carefully crafted plan completely derailed by this insane twist. Good grief. In the quiet halls of a grand cathedral, a memory plays out. Cardinal Cleo's voice echoes over a communication line, his words painting a picture of the impossible. A dragon, turning into a human, he muses, contemplating the image of Gresha, the gray shell plant turned girl. Miles away, Ares listens, his expression unreadable. She's in Taudu's hands for now, he reports coolly, and currently she's behaving, but I need more information. The cardinal's voice continues, shifting the topic. Ares, I've heard of dragons taking human form before. Do you know of the dragon knights of the Remless Kingdom? Ares's eyes narrow slightly, a flicker of acknowledgement in his otherwise stoic gaze. Yes, he confirms. His mind conjures images of legends, knights soaring through the skies on the backs of majestic dragons. The dragon knights of Remless, he explains. They tame the untamable, conquering the skies with tactics no sane person would even consider. They are called the strongest for a reason. The cardinal's voice cuts through the memory. I've heard their dragons often take human form, but as you know, their country doesn't fall under our jurisdiction. Ares continues the thought, their knowledge is a closely guarded secret. But the most troublesome part is that the Remless Kingdom doesn't believe in as greed. We aren't enemies, Cleo clarifies, but different faiths lead to different values, a fundamental gap between us. Ares immediately grasps the implication, a scowl forming on his face. So gathering information through the church's influence is impossible. What a bother. But the cardinal sees opportunity where Ares sees obstruction. Since Remless can tame them, it's a possibility for us as well. There may be danger, but we can't defeat the demon lord without taking risks. Ares's sharp gaze softens for a moment, conceding the point. You have a point. The cardinal presses on, his voice filled with strategic vision. Look at it from another perspective. If we can make this creature our ally, we'll have a dependable and powerful weapon on our side. He poses the critical question, his eyes seeming to pierce through the distance. What are your thoughts on that, Ares? Ares considers the raw power of Taudu's party, now potentially amplified by a dragon, if they ended up becoming an ally. I'd prefer one who can roam the skies freely, he finishes, revealing a hint of his own desires, a longing for unbound strength and freedom. A soft chuckle comes from the cardinal. Ka, and that's one of the reasons I chose you for this mission, Ares. Your nature understands such things. The flashback fades. Ares stands in the bustling street of a town, the cardinal's words still echoing in his mind. Is that so? He murmurs to himself, before turning his attention back to the present. Seated across from Amelia in a noisy tavern, Ares cuts to the chase, his gaze fixed on the plate of food before him. Give me the latest update. Amelia reports dutifully. Yes, we're currently at the inn. After we bought some clothes for Gresha, we plan to report to the village chief. Ares's eyes flick up, catching on the name, Gresha. Amelia nods, a hint of sympathy in her voice. Yes, we couldn't keep calling her Dragon, so we gave her a name. Ares takes a sip from his mug, connecting the dots. Grayshell plant, hence Gresha, pretty straightforward, he says flatly. Is she behaving? Amelia's expression becomes serious. As of now, yes, however she's extremely cautious and hasn't opened up at all. What of Taudu? Ares asks, his tone clinical. It doesn't appear he minds her attitude, Amelia explains. From his perspective, she's just wary because she's in a new environment. Ares chews thoughtfully, his mind already several steps ahead. So Taudu's naive compassion means he won't be throwing Gresha out anytime soon. The pieces of his plan click into place. Amelia will be leaving the party soon. If I can win Gresha over and get her to join Taudu permanently, gathering information will be much easier. He walks through a darkened alley, contemplating the major obstacle. The problem is how to get her on board, especially since I beat her half dead once. It might be impossible. Back in the tavern, he gives Amelia her instructions. Either way, I have to talk to her. Soon, Taudu's party is going to buy clothes for her. That should create an opening. Can you secure her alone? His eyes are cold, calculating. I want to do this without witnesses, keep Taudu and the others out of it. As for Ramiz, do whatever it takes. Amelia meets his gaze, her own expression unreadable as she gives a simple, one-word reply. Understood. But as she agrees, she pivots. By the way, Ares-san, are you aware of the reason why you were chosen for this mission? He doesn't hesitate, his confidence unwavering. I do. Amelia looks down, her voice soft but firm. I'm afraid that your guess is probably just one of the reasons why. Ares pauses, his hand on his mug. What do you mean? She looks up, her gaze direct. Ares-san, this mission isn't just to support Taudu. I dare say it's also for you to conquer your weakness. Yes, Ares-san, your weakness is. He scoffs internally, a flicker of annoyance in his eyes. My weakness. That you always handle everything on your own, she states plainly, the words hanging in the air. Amelia's voice takes on the weight of their superior's judgment. You can't rely on anyone else. That quality of yours is by no means favorable in the eyes of our cardinal. To him, it's a fatal flaw. She stares him down, reading him perfectly. I know you hold no expectation for me whatsoever. You think that should I fail, you can just take matters into your own hands. Ares dismisses her with a wave of his hand, completely missing the point. You're wrong, Amelia, you've done your share of the work. As for the rest, I can manage. Her words only serve to prove her right to him, she is just a tool for a specific purpose. Amelia continues, her voice laced with frustration. You wouldn't sleep even if you were exhausted. You'd constantly be thinking of the next step, layering caution over caution in case I failed. I suppose this is what they call compassionate surveillance. Her eyes narrow, her accusation sharp and direct. You don't have the slightest bit of trust in me. Ares' gaze is like ice. What do you expect me to do then? A vision of the cardinal flashes in her mind, his authority backing her words. I propose an improvement. Since I'm tasked to support you under the cardinal's order, I wouldn't accept anything less than a job well done. Ares cuts her off, his voice dangerously low. This is my business, he declares, ending the conversation with chilling finality. Later that night, the scene shifts to quiet in room. Ares stands over two sleeping figures, Amelia beside him. And this is, he asks, though he already knows. On the bed, Ramiz and the dragon girl Gresha are deep in a magically induced slumber, their breathing slow and even. Magic, huh? Ares thinks, a hint of surprise in his tone. She made it sound so easy, but the truth couldn't be more different. He knows the theory well. Both dragons and mages have high resistance against magic. To put these two into a deep slumber almost instantly isn't something your average priest could do. He finally understands. I see, this must be her way of saying that I could depend on her. A silent, powerful demonstration of her capabilities. Amelia breaks the silence, her gaze steady. What are you going to do now? Ares calculates his window of opportunity. How long until Taudu comes back? 20. No, 30 minutes, I suppose. Will Ramiz wake up? He asks, turning to Amelia. I'm interrogating her. Amelia assures him, no, unless you make a loud noise, you don't have to worry about her waking up. The word catches Amelia off guard. Interrogation, not negotiation, she questions, a seed of dread planting in her stomach. Ares ignores her, his focus entirely on the sleeping girl. There's no mistaking it, she's that dragon. He can sense the immense power radiating from her, even in this weakened state. She might have grown weaker than before, but Taudu still can't compare to her. His eyes narrow to slits, his verdict delivered with absolute certainty. She's a threat. In a flash of brutal motion, Ares grabs Gresha by the arm, yanking her from the bed without a shred of gentleness. Amelia gasps, her voice sharp with shock and disbelief. Ares-san. Gresha's eyes flutter open, still hazy from the magical sleep. Ares' voice is a cold command that cuts through her daze. Wake up. He holds her up, his grip like iron, his expression devoid of any emotion. Gresha's eyes fly wide open, pure shock and terror flooding her features as she's violently ripped from her slumber. Ares' face is a mask of grim purpose. He clenches his other fist, drawing it back. Gresha's eyes widen further, a silent scream caught in her throat as she sees the blow coming. With a sickening thud, his fist connects squarely with her stomach. A choked gasp escapes her lips. Gah. Amelia can only watch, frozen in horror. Wah. Gresha coughs, saliva flying from her mouth as the force of the punch knocks the wind out of her. She doubles over, clutching her stomach in agony, her body trembling uncontrollably. Ares slams her back against the wall, her eyes wide with pain and fear. He pins her there, his towering figure casting a menacing shadow over her. She retches, the violent awakening and the brutal punch overwhelming her senses. Leaning in close, his voice is a deadly whisper, each word a threat. Make a noise and you're dead, show hostility and you're also dead. Ares' eyes are devoid of all warmth, his voice a chilling whisper that cuts through the silence. If you don't answer my questions, then you're also dead. Pure, undiluted terror flashes in Gresha's eyes. They widen, the pupils shrinking to pinpricks as the weight of his threat crashes down on her. Amelia watches, a bead of sweat tracing a path down her temple. Ares-san, she murmurs, her voice trembling slightly, I think you went too far. He doesn't even turn to look at her. Not an issue, Ares states flatly, his gaze still locked on the terrified girl. I can heal her wounds later. Amelia is horrified. That's not what she starts, but Ares cuts her off, his fingers pressing against Gresha's lips. Even if I rip an arm or two off, it'll just go back to normal. His mind is a fortress of cold logic. I can't let my guard down, he thinks, his focus absolute. There's no room for error. He forces her to look at him, his voice low and menacing. She may look human, but she's still a monster. Leaning in closer, Ares lays down the rules of his interrogation. Answer my questions, say anything else and I'll kill you. With the threats established, he finally asks his first question, his grip tightening slightly. What caused you to transform into a human? Gresha's head spins, her mind a whirlwind of fear and confusion. She shakes her head frantically, unable to form a coherent thought, let alone an answer. Ares' eyes narrow into dangerous slits. You don't know, he presses, his tone laced with suspicion. I hope you're not lying. She can only manage a choked whimper, squeezing her eyes shut as if to block out the terrifying reality of her situation. Suddenly, she recoils, a gasp escaping her lips as Ares' hand moves with lightning speed, pinning her before she can even think of escaping. He looms over her, a predator cornering its prey. You can run, but you won't escape, he warns. Lay a single hand on that black-haired human, Taudu, and you're dead. Then his expression shifts into something resembling a smile, but it's sharp and unsettling. However, should you agree to follow my orders, give me a promise and that won't happen. Gresha stares, trapped between a rock and a hard place. The word catches in her throat, a strangled I. Finally, broken and terrified, she whispers the word he wants to hear, a vow made under duress. Promise. Ares' expression is one of grim satisfaction. The deal is sealed. We have a contract then. As Amelia begins to voice her objections again, Ares cuts her off without a glance. Ares-san, she starts, but he's already moving on. Save your lecture, let's get to the main point. He turns his full attention back to Gresha, his eyes analytical. Gresha, why did you come out of the forest's depth? That's not even your territory there. His mind races, connecting the dots, two grayshell plants appearing, one transforming. We could rule it as a coincidence for the first, but for it to happen twice, there had to be a reason behind it. Gresha's eyes dart around nervously and she finally stammers out a single, terrifying word. Demon. The memory floods back to her, a dark, ominous presence lurking in the shadows of her home. In the forest, she whispers, a demon, it appeared. Ares processes this new information with unnerving calm. A dragon made its appearance twice already, he thinks to himself. I'm prepared. Amelia looks at him, worried, but Ares is resolute. That's within the realm of my guess. I'd still make my mission a success no matter what. His hand rests on the hilt of his blade, a silent promise of violence. I won't panic over one or two demons appearing now. Immediately, he pulls out a communication feather, channeling his mana into it. Demon, he mutters, initiating a call with Cardinal Cleo. On the other end, the Cardinal's voice is laced with concern. I wonder if they found out about the hero. Ares considers the possibility. I'm unsure, but there's a slim possibility. If they really caught on to the existence of the hero, they won't resort to lame tactics such as sending a dragon. His objective is clear. Either way, I'll just have to catch that demon and interrogate them. Please dispatch crusaders on scene. The Cardinal poses a strategic question, twirling the feather. What are the odds on the hero fighting the demon? Ares scoffs at the very idea. Is that supposed to be a joke? It's far too soon. At least he should reach level 60 first. The Cardinal falls silent, contemplating the new threat. Demons, Ares lays out his plan. Me and the hero party will leave for the next town, so the rest is all yours. It's faster and safer to move on and level up there, rather than staying in a town where a demon exists. He already has the perfect destination in mind. I've chosen the next place, it's Golem Valley. Compared to here, the field of vision there is better, making it easier to observe them. He glances over at Taudu's party, Gresha now among them. Since I got Gresha on board now, I can have her control their actions to a certain degree. The Cardinal concedes. Understood, you can leave the matter with the demon to us. The connection is about to close. I'll contact you if there's any update, Ares says, ending the call. With one problem handled, he moves to the next phase. Next is to lead Taudu. His plan to manipulate the hero's party is now in motion. Meanwhile, in another part of town, Taudu is having a very different conversation. He's reporting to the weary village chief. Yes, I understand, the chief says, his hands bandaged. Thank you very much, dear hero. Taudu explains the strange situation. Like I said, the grayshell plant transformed into this girl, so we're unable to subjugate it. He presses the chief, concerned about the threat they left behind. Are you going to turn a blind eye on the monster who left her half dead? Wouldn't that pose a problem? The chief's response is shockingly nonchalant. Since it won't affect our village, I don't have anything to say regarding that. He then changes the subject. By the way, hero, have you decided on your next destination? Before Taudu can answer, the chief drops a bombshell. Actually, Taudu-san, the Viru forest will be off limits for a while. Taudu is stunned. What? Taudu looks confused. I plan on continuing to hunt in Viru forest for the time being. The chief shakes his head. Just like you said, Taudu-san, there's a dangerous monster lurking in the forest. Until it's taken care of, the forest will be off limits. Taudu is suspicious. It'll be closed because it's dangerous. This is the first time I'm hearing this. The chief offers a vague explanation. Since as of recent, monsters' activities have also been growing more active. Taking into account the danger level of this monster, we decided to make an exception this time. The timing is too perfect. But I only just reported it and you decided to make it off limits already? The chief looks away. No, this decision wasn't made after hearing your report. He lowers his voice, glancing around nervously. It's made from another source. In the background, Ares' smug, shadowy form is practically visible. Taudu is completely bewildered by this turn of events. Okay. The chief stonewalls him. Unfortunately, I can't disclose who it is. The manipulation is working perfectly. He grits his teeth, clearly under pressure from this mysterious third party. It's anonymous. With Taudu's options now limited, the chief offers a helpful suggestion. Forgive my rudeness, but if I may, I'd suggest you to go to the Golem Valley next. Golem Valley, a famous leveling spot in the Rook's Kingdom, a mountainous area where golems yielding high exp reside. The chief seals the deal. I believe it should allow you to level up more efficiently than in Viru Forest. Gresha, now part of the group, lights up with excitement. Golem Valley. She eagerly shouts, Golem Valley we go. Taudu and the others are shocked. You can speak. But Taudu isn't celebrating. A deep conflict is brewing within him. As they walk through the town, he can't shake a nagging feeling. Hey. He looks at his party. The strong monster in Viru Forest, what'll happen to it? He tries to reassure himself and his friends. Like the village chief said, a special punitive force made of hunters will be formed to subjugate it. But the doubt lingers. Can we leave it to them? He asks, though the question is really for himself. He stares at his own hand, the symbol of his power and his burden. I'm a hero, but even though I'm the hero, I'm prioritizing my level, while setting aside the danger that looms over people. His internal conflict explodes to the surface. Is that acceptable? His party members look on, unsure what to say. That's. Taudu clenches his fist, his eyes burning with a new resolve. He makes a decision not as a player trying to level up, but as a protector. I am a hero. Back in their hideout, Ares is confident. Where's Taudu and co? I ask the village chief to lead them to Golem Valley. He continues, pleased with his own cleverness. We'd have an easier time observing them there, but Amelia interrupts, her face grim. Ares-san, incoming report from Gresha. Amelia delivers the news that shatters Ares' perfectly laid plan. Taudu's party is entering the Viru Forest. Ares freezes, his mind refusing to process the information. A sweat drop forms on his temple. Sorry. Amelia elaborates, while I'm in contact with Gresha, it's hard to decipher her words, so I can't make out the reason. But the destination is clear. Ares just stares, dumbfounded. Why? The shock gives way to pure, unadulterated rage. A sharp ch escapes his lips. He sees their faces in his mind, the hero and his companions, all blissfully unaware of the chaos they've caused. Why can't any of you, he seethes, obediently follow along my script? His entire body trembles with fury, his composure completely gone. His silent rage finally erupts into a furious shout that echoes in the empty room. You were told the forest is dangerous, didn't you? God damn it. Deep within the sprawling Viru Forest, Ares' eyes narrow, scanning the dense tree line. His mind races, calculating the odds. This forest is huge, he thinks. The place Gresha was supposedly chased from was in the deepest, most dangerous part. Even if Taudu's party went in, Ares muses, the chances of them randomly stumbling upon the target demon are slim to none. He turns to his companion, Amelia. If he's just trying to level up, he wouldn't go this deep. I need to know his real objective. This whole thing smells fishy. He watches the path ahead where Taudu's group disappeared. If they're actually trying to defeat that demon, they're basically offering themselves up as a free meal. Ares glances down at Amelia, his expression grim. With their skill level, I doubt they could even handle the normal monsters around here, let alone a high-level demon. Amelia looks up, her expression deadpan as she delivers her report. What we know right now is that Gresha is hungry, period. Ares' eye twitches in annoyance. Who cares about that? He sighs, exasperated. Is that really all she's reporting? Did I not threaten her enough? Maybe I should have crushed an arm. He pinches the bridge of his nose, forcing himself to focus. Okay, stay calm, let's think of a solution. His eyes harden with resolve. Just to be safe, if push comes to shove, I'll enter the forest myself and kill the demon. Amelia nods silently. Understood. Ares looks at her pointedly. I'm sure you already know this, but you're to remain on standby here, Amelia. Amelia's eyes widen slightly, a hint of defiance in her voice. Why? He clenches his fist, the leather of his glove creaking. Because I specialize in fighting solo. A flashback of him obliterating a monster with his mace flashes through his mind. I handle my own healing and buffs. I charge my opponent directly and beat them with overwhelming force. There's no room for you to enter the fight, Amelia. Amelia's face falls, her voice barely a whisper. So you're saying I'd only slow you down. Ares turns away, a flicker of frustration on his face. And here I am, trying to be considerate with my words. He tries to explain his logic. Priests show their true value in a party. A solo fighter like me means she doesn't have a role to play right now. But Amelia stands her ground, her gaze unwavering. Ares-san, I volunteered to support you. I'm willing to risk my life. Ares processes her words, so she's saying I don't need to worry about her safety. Her resolve is absolute. He lets out a short, sharp sigh. Fine, his eyes narrow again, however. He gives her a non-negotiable command, his voice leaving no room for argument. You're to run as soon as you sense your life is in danger, and you will follow my order. Is that clear? Amelia meets his gaze, her expression firm and resolute. Yes. With the terms set, they venture deeper into the oppressive woods, the canopy of trees swallowing the sky above. Ares keeps his senses sharp, his gaze sweeping across the darkening landscape. He glances at the sky peeking through the leaves. The sun is about to set. In another 2 hours, this place will be pitch black. They move stealthily through the undergrowth. Amelia, any news on Taudu? He asks quietly. I doubt they're dumb enough to keep searching in the dark. Amelia replies, they're 3 km ahead of us. Ares calculates the distance. 3 kilometers, we can catch up to them. Suddenly, a glint of steel flashes from the trees. A volley of throwing knives hurtles towards them. Ares saw, Amelia cries out in warning. But Ares is already moving. With a casual flick of his wrist, he deflects one knife with his mace while sidestepping the others. The attack was clumsy, weak. The knives thud harmlessly into the ground around him. The ambush was over before it even began. He doesn't even look at the fallen weapons, his senses reaching out. Do you sense a huge presence? He asks, testing her. Amelia, still shaken, looks at the smoldering remains of a summoned creature that was instantly defeated. Sorry, what did you say again? Ares dismisses it. No, it's nothing. Amelia focuses, trying to parse the strange feelings in the air. I can sense something, deeper inside the forest. But I don't know if they're our target, she admits. Ares sighs. Any info from Gresha? Amelia looks away, embarrassed. She's hungry. Ares's expression is one of pure, undiluted annoyance. He closes his eyes for a second, fighting back a wave of irritation at the sheer uselessness of his supposed informant. As true night begins to fall, the forest comes alive with unseen threats. Night falls, monsters are growing more active, Ares notes. I wonder if Taudu has set up camp already. Suddenly, Ares freezes. His eyes snap wide open as an immense, terrifying pressure washes over him from the distance. Amelia senses his sudden change in demeanor. Ares-san. His voice is low and serious, all previous annoyance gone. It's far, but there's no mistaking it. Amelia, he says, his gaze locked in the direction of the power. I'm sure of it. A big one showed up. I'm going to subjugate it. He stops walking, turning to face her. You don't have to come. Remain on standby here and prepare for the worst. Amelia is taken aback, sweat beading on her face. Ares's tone is final. I alone am enough. This is an order, Amelia. You have a different role to play. Got it? Amelia stares at him, her mind racing, weighing her duty against his command. She quickly understands her new mission. And if it comes to it, I'm to find Taudu, tell him the situation, and persuade him to escape, right? A shadow of doubt crosses her face. Am I a hindrance? No, Ares states plainly. We're merely dividing our roles. You search, I kill, that's your role. Her eyes flash with a hint of pride and frustration. I can also fight, she insists quietly. Ares says nothing, his silence a clear answer. Amelia relents, her shoulders slumping slightly. But this time I'll obey your order, since I didn't tag along to cause you trouble. Great, he says, relieved. Keep the line on, I'll give you situation updates constantly. He turns to leave. Contact me if something happens with Taudu. Amelia nods, yes. He pauses. Any questions? She shakes her head. No. Just as he's about to depart, she calls out one last time. Ares-san. He turns back him. She looks him straight in the eye, her voice filled with genuine concern. If things get worse, please run. I'd be troubled if you died on me. Any questions? A faint, almost imperceptible smile touches his lips. No. Meanwhile, Taudu's party has stopped their advance, the reality of the dangerous forest setting in. One of the party members frantically tries to get Taudu's attention. Now Dono. Taudu snaps out of his thoughts. Sorry, what is it? The party member points towards the darkening sky. It's about to get dark soon. The atmosphere grows tense. Monsters grow more aggressive at night. Leaving you and me aside, the others are at risk. Taudu turns to his mage. What do you think, Ramiz? The small girl nods in agreement. Lin, I agree with Arya. Ramiz is lacking on the physical side since she's a mage, Lin explains. We should set a camp and rest for the day. Taudu looks to his last party member. In Gresha, she just clutches her stomach. I'm hungry. Taudu sighs, making the call. Okay, Ramiz, please make the preparation. Okay, the mage chirps, her hands beginning to glow with magic. I'm taking out the carriage. With a flash of light, a large, sturdy carriage materializes out of thin air, providing a secure place for the party to rest. Elsewhere, Taudu stands watch, a thoughtful expression on his face as he stares into the woods. Miles away, Ares dashes through the forest, zeroing in on the malevolent energy he sensed. He arrives in a clearing to find his target. Perched on a jagged cliff, silhouetted against the full moon, sits a demon, its eyes glowing with sinister power. Ares activates his communication line, a faint magical glow connecting him to Amelia. Back at her position, Amelia hears the static. Ares' voice comes through, grim and heavy. Amelia, I got bad news. The demon grins, a predator that's found its prey. Ares stares back, his face a mask of cold fury. It's a demon, commencing battle. Ares' eyes narrow, his gaze fixed on the shadowy figure before him. The creature's appearance is unsettling but familiar. I know this kind, he thinks, his mind racing. His opponent smirks, revealing sharp fangs. Ares' suspicions are confirmed. Night dwellers with high intelligence, black bloods. He's fought them before, dangerous, cunning predators. They blend into the darkness, preying on human settlements, earning them the name whispered in fear, vampire. a creature of the night now standing right in front of him. With cold resolve, Ares pulls the hood of his cloak further over his face, concealing his identity. This is not a fight for the public eye. He secures a stark white mask, the final piece of his disguise. The man known as Ares vanishes, replaced by a silent, hooded hunter. Ares's thoughts drift to the others nearby. Taudu's party is close. This is the worst possible situation. A vampire this powerful could wipe them out in an instant. The vampire perches on a branch, oblivious to the danger he's in. Ares's resolve hardens. I need to dispose of him immediately, before he becomes a threat to Taudu. Without a sound, Ares draws his blade and lunges. The vampire's eyes widen in surprise as the masked figure explodes from the shadows, steel glinting under the moonlight. The vampire reacts with supernatural speed, deflecting the blade with his bare hand. The sound of metal scraping against unnaturally tough skin echoes through the clearing. Ares's attack is relentless, a whirlwind of strikes aimed to kill. But the vampire is just as fast, weaving and dodging, turning his own body into a weapon as he retaliates with a powerful kick. The vampire dissolves into a black mist, his voice echoing from the shifting fog. Form Blackwind. Ares clicks his tongue in annoyance. It's so annoying. But Ares isn't fazed. He grips his mace, preparing for the vampire's next move. He leaps into the air, twisting his body into a powerful kick aimed right where the vampire is reforming. This isn't a battle of power, it's a battle of speed and wits. The kick connects, but the vampire vanishes at the last second, reappearing just out of reach. The vampire's eyes are wide with a mix of shock and excitement. He's never faced a human who could keep up with him. Suddenly, he feels a sharp pain in his arm. He looks down to see the masked hunter's blade has drawn blood. The vampire smirks, unfazed by the wound. I sure have received a troublesome mission. He effortlessly parries another one of Ares's lightning-fast strikes. Ares presses his advantage, his blade a blur. Really? Crazy coincidence, huh? The vampire catches Ares's blade between his fingers, the metal groaning under the pressure. A fierce one, aren't you? He sneers. From behind his mask, Ares's eyes gleam with cold calculation. He's just testing the waters. The vampire seems confused by his opponent's silence and sheer skill. This human is an anomaly. The two combatants disengage, creating distance. The air crackles with tension as they size each other up for the next exchange. The vampire casually twirls Ares's discarded mace. Let's use our heads more here, he taunts, especially since you'll lose yours in a moment. Ares remains silent, watching as the vampire continues to monologue. Quite the talkative one, aren't you? A woman's voice suddenly crackles through a hidden communication device. Ares-san, are you okay? Without missing a beat, Ares replies coolly, no problem here. Amelia's voice persists, filled with worry. Do you need help? Ares cuts her off, his voice firm. Unnecessary. The vampire, oblivious to the conversation, continues his arrogant speech. The difference between our power should be clear by now. For a human, you're extraordinary, but still, you can't win against me. Ares has heard enough. He explodes forward in a burst of speed, his fist aimed directly at the vampire's face. The vampire recoils, shocked by the sudden attack. Oh dear, this is why humans are such a have no one ever taught you to listen till the end when someone else is talking. Ares's voice is like ice, cutting through the vampire's complaints. You're not a human. Before the vampire can react, Ares's hand darts out, aiming not for a killing blow but to disarm. He twists, using the vampire's momentum against him, creating an opening. With blinding speed, he bypasses the vampire's guard, his hand shooting towards his opponent's wrist. He grabs hold, his grip like a vice. A faint holy light begins to emanate from his hand, causing the vampire's skin to sizzle. Ares's eyes burn with intensity from behind the mask. Vampire, name yourself. The vampire throws his head back and lets out a wild, maniacal laugh, the sound echoing through the dead forest. His laughter subsides, replaced by a look of mild annoyance. He seems to be weighing his options. Now of all times, he mutters, glancing at the hand gripping his wrist. He meets Ares's gaze, a smirk playing on his lips. Well, fine. He puffs out his chest with aristocratic pride. My name's Zarpen Drago Vanir, descendant of the great vampire lord. Zarpen leans in, his voice dripping with condescension. We don't usually humor mere humans like you, be honored. Ares processes the information. Vanir, it's an infamous name within the church, the one who stands on the top of vampires. He tightens his grip, his voice low and demanding. Vampire Lord, what's your goal here? Zarpen's eyes glint with amusement. I suppose it doesn't kill to tell you as a farewell gift. It's the hero. Is the hero here, do you know? He elaborates, recalling his king's command. Our king sensed a presence. It's faint, but we need to confirm it. Ares remains silent, listening intently. Every word is a piece of the puzzle. Zarpen continues, preening. And I, the next promising officer candidate, was sent here to investigate. It's an honor to be tasked with such an important mission. He then muses to himself, though I have to wonder. Why would the holy brave be in this forest filled with weak monsters? Just what is our lord thinking? Zarpan's gaze returns to Ares. You're the one who defeated the monster I sent, right, Gresha? He smirks. Your strength is certainly praiseworthy, although still nowhere close to me. He sighs dramatically. Getting dispatched into the middle of nowhere like this bores me, you see, so I'll have you play with me to stave off my boredom. Ares speaks into his communicator again, his voice laced with disbelief. Amelia, we have an idiot over here. He continues his private report. Him leaking everything is the utmost proof of an idiot. I wouldn't do that even if our roles were reversed. Ares addresses Zarpan again. I get your point. One last question. By this king of yours, is it Demon Lord Kronos? Zarpan is taken aback by the question. What are? Ares cuts him off, his tone almost conversational. Zarpan, you're strong. I can see why you're the descendant of the vampire lord. The vampire is utterly confused by the sudden change in topic. Really, what are? Internally, Ares makes a grim assessment. He's undoubtedly strong. Taudu wouldn't hold a candle against him. He continues his lecture aloud, but you are too sloppy. You should focus more on completing your given mission. Zarpan's confusion turns to irritation. Ares' confidence is unwavering. But, Ares thinks, it's still within the realm of my expectation. Ares looks around the clearing. Your king is truly insightful, sending their subordinates here to this forest with the highest probability of encountering the hero. But you, on the other hand. Zarpan finally yanks his hand free, his patience gone. What are you implying? Ares slowly reaches for his mask. This is business. Carelessness is out of the question, therefore I never let my guard down. He pulls the mask away, revealing his face. His silver hair and piercing eyes are unmistakable. My name is Ares Crown. He raises his free hand, and particles of pure, holy light begin to gather in his palm. The person your king is looking for. Zarpan's eyes widen in utter disbelief. The realization hits him like a physical blow. Ares slams his hand down. Is me. Pillars of light erupt from the ground, forming a cage around them. The holy energy sears Zarpan's demonic flesh. The pillars connect, forming an impenetrable barrier of sacred energy, a prism. Zarpan screams as the holy light engulfs him, his dark power being suppressed and burned away. Standing amidst the blinding light, his identity revealed, Ares makes his declaration, his voice booming with power. I am the hero. Miles away, Taudu's party is jolted by the sudden, massive surge of holy energy that lights up the entire forest. They stare at the pillar of light in the distance. What's happening? One of them asks, shielding their eyes. Taudu recognizes the technique instantly. That's a prism, a barrier made by priests. His eyes narrow with determination. Someone is in a serious fight and they might need help. Let's go. Back inside the prism, Zarpan collapses to his knees, weakened and disoriented by the overwhelming holy aura. He grits his teeth, trying to fight off the debilitating effects of the barrier. This is, he gasps, looking up at the cage of light trapping him. Ares looks down at him, his expression cold and unforgiving. I'm glad you're dumb, you're not going anywhere. The lecture begins. Vampire, unlike you, we humans are weak and hard to level up, so we classify our enemies into stages, you see. He circles the kneeling vampire. According to my calculations, you're at stage 3, a mid-ranked demon. Recommended subjugation level is 65-70, and that's for a full party. Ares continues his breakdown. You use dark magic, fog form, beast form, blood manipulation, life drain. You can even spawn familiars. These are the key points to remember when facing your kind. He gestures to the sky. Higher-ranking vampires might even possess a unique signature ability, but you don't seem to have one. Zarpan flinches. Every word is a calculated strike, dismantling his pride and exposing his weaknesses. Ares' mind is working overtime. This guy is hiding something. I want more information, but I don't have the leeway for that. I can't let him escape with his life. He continues his verbal assault. It's not your strength that makes you formidable, it's your agility. If you were to turn into fog and run, pursuing you would be next to impossible. Which is why, Ares explains, when we hunt vampires in a city, we erect a barrier preemptively to prevent them from escaping. Ares stands over the defeated Zarpan. This barrier suppresses dark powers and its user. Its only downside is the time it takes to prepare. It was nerve-wracking, stalling while you could have escaped at any moment. He glances at the mace lying on the ground. I figured you might use teleport magic, so I needed to be sure. You must have used that to catch me off guard back there. And with Taudu's party so close, I couldn't risk you running into them. Thanks to my prism, your teleportation is sealed. You're trapped. Zarpan glares up at Ares, his face a mask of fury and humiliation. He's been completely outplayed, lectured, and trapped by the very hero he was sent to find. Inside the shimmering walls of the prism, Ares schools the vampire prince, his voice dripping with condescending calm. Zarpan, you're powerful sure, but you're completely lacking in battle experience. He gestures with his dagger towards the mace he'd discarded earlier. Any veteran vampire knows that a mace is a holy weapon. They'd never be foolish enough to stand around talking to the person wielding it. Ares closes the distance, his voice dropping to a menacing whisper. You might want to remember this for the few seconds you have left. I won't let you escape. You got lucky once, it's not happening again. Zarpen flinches back, pure shock and rage twisting his features. This human was supposed to be prey, not the predator lecturing him on his own weaknesses. Ignoring the vampire's sputtering, Ares raises a hand, holy energy crackling around his fingertips. Now, he declares, his voice echoing with power, accept God's judgment. His eyes blaze with cold light as he unleashes the technique, Photon Order. A torrent of pure, concentrated holy energy erupts from his hand, engulfing Zarpen in a blinding flash. The vampire has no time to scream, no time to even register the attack before it hits. The light subsides, revealing Zarpen's smoking, scorched form. He's still standing but barely. Ares watches, unimpressed. Suddenly, the holy energy detonates from within, blowing a massive, sizzling hole straight through the vampire's chest. Zarpen's eyes fly open, not in death but in pure, unadulterated fury. He's wounded but far from finished. With a guttural roar, he lunges forward, a black blur of rage and desperation, claws aimed right for Ares' throat. But Ares doesn't even flinch. He meets the charge with contemptuous ease, catching the vampire's wrist in an iron grip. The attack is stopped dead. Zarpen's claws, capable of tearing through steel, are rendered useless against Ares' simple block. Zarpen coughs up blood, his eyes wide with disbelief. Across from him, Ares remains a mask of cold indifference, a tiny trickle of blood on his cheek, the only sign he was even touched. Before Zarpen can recover, Ares shoves his hand against the vampire's face, a halo of holy power forming at his palm. Photon Order. A point-blank blast of divine judgment engulfs Zarpen's head, the sound of searing flesh echoing within the prism. The vampire's body is slammed into the forest floor, a mangled, twitching heap. Surely this has to be the end. But through the smoke, Zarpen's eyes snap open, wide with a mix of terror and confusion. He's still alive. How is he still alive? Ares clicks his tongue in annoyance, wiping the blood from his cheek. That's not enough to purify you. Don't tell me you have some kind of protection. Zarpen staggers to his feet, a smug, bloody grin spreading across his face. It is the protection of the evil god, Lucif Arpit. It nullifies almost all incoming damage, a power reserved for the highest-ranking demons. Ares' eyes narrow, his internal calculations were flawless. Under normal circumstances, the damage I've dealt should have been enough to kill him 3 times over. He glances at his dagger, its divine power paling in comparison to his true weapon. As expected, this is inferior to my mace. This fight is dragging on. Zarpen, now fully regenerated, laughs. What a surprise. I never thought I'd face the so-called hero in a place like this. Ares scoffs internally. The evil god's protection is such a hassle. To think a low-level demon like this would be granted its power. Zarpen's confidence returns, his eyes gleaming with murderous intent. He's a threat. If I let him escape, he'll become a major problem. I should finish him off here while he's still weak. Ares makes a decision. This would have ended already if not for his protection, he says aloud, and keeping the prism up isn't helping me kill him faster, so I'm undoing it, Zarpen. A cold smile touches Ares' lips. I'll make this quick. Zarpen sneers. What a lame joke. I admit you're strong for a human, but the power difference is clear. I have the upper hand here. Ares shakes his head. That's just the general opinion. In a battle of attrition, you're the one who'd break first. He raises a finger to the cut on his cheek. A soft, warm light begins to glow. You see, I'm a healer. The wound vanishes without a trace. I can heal myself as many times as I want. Zarpen's smug expression shatters into utter disbelief. Who? A healer who fights with this much power, it was impossible. You monster, the vampire stammers. Ares' reply is instant and cold. You're the monster. Ares takes a step forward, his aura pressing down on the vampire. Out of tricks already, vampire. His voice is devoid of all emotion, a simple statement of fact. I'll keep killing you until you're dead. Panic finally sets in. Zarpen's eyes dart around wildly, landing on the discarded mace. The prism's source, if I can just get rid of that. He makes a desperate dash for it, but Ares is faster, slamming his foot down and crushing the vampire into the dirt. A sickening crunch echoes as Ares stomps down again, grinding Zarpen under his heel. The vampire is pinned, helpless and humiliated, his escape plan foiled before it even began. With a final, dismissive kick, Ares sends Zarpen's broken body tumbling through the air. But just as he prepares to press the attack, the sound of rustling leaves and snapping twigs reaches his ears. Someone's coming. Ares freezes. He wasn't expecting an audience. Taudu and his party break through the foliage, their eyes wide as they take in the scene of devastation. Taudu stares, completely bewildered. Just what happened here? Ares lets out a silent curse. Taudu, of all the people to show up now. He raises a hand, his voice sharp and commanding. Don't come closer, you'll break my prism. He quickly improvises a cover story. This forest is currently on lockdown due to the discovery of a demon. Why did you come here? Taudu stammers, caught off guard by the masked man's aggressive tone. Ares cuts him off, trying to get rid of them. Whatever, I'm in the middle of a battle. Night in the forest is dangerous. Set up camp and wait for daybreak. He turns his back on them, his message clear. Leave as soon as the morning comes. But Taudu, ever the hero, spots Zarpan rising behind Ares. Behind you. Ares sighs in exasperation, not even bothering to look. I don't need your help, He effortlessly ducks under the vampire's wild swing, the claws whistling past his ear. In one fluid motion, he grabs Zarpan's arm and fires another photon order, blasting the demon away while keeping him firmly in his grasp. He glances back at the stunned Taudu. Demons are tenacious. He gestures to the sizzling vampire, who's already starting to regenerate. Especially since this one has an annoying protection, it'll take some time to kill.